everybody! The rain has already started. I wish you could see this.
Nose forward on the stick. Man Toga, SRS runway, auto thrust is blue. 89, thrust set. 5500. 31. Rotate. Nose forward on the stick. Man Toga, SRS runway, auto thrust is blue. 89.
No way, right on cue. Oh, there it comes again. The rain stopped literally the second the song stopped. I was like, seriously? I wanted to spawn in some rainy Houston, South Texas weather. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Happy Sunday. Massive apologies to the confusion earlier about the stream. I guess I scheduled it for 3, but I went to edit it last night to like 5:45 or so. I guess I never hit save or didn't save, so I log on to my computer around 3 o'clock, 1 minute prior to 2:59, and I see people waiting for a live stream. I'm like, what? Oh, no. And then I panicked, so I just put it in private mode until I figured out what I was going to do. So apologies for that. We're just simulating, airport delays, a lot of weather, a lot of tornadoes. God help everybody in the Midwest. It's been absolutely wreaking havoc with the tornadoes the last couple of days, so hope just our thoughts and prayers for everybody involved in that. It's been a massive couple of days of tornadoes and damage. But we're here in South Texas, in Houston. We were going to do a longer flight from Kennedy down to where were we going? Guatemala City. But because we got a late start, I didn't want to do a 4-hour flight. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't really feeling up to it. But now I am. But now we're already in Houston, so we're just going to give it a full send from Houston. We've got Green Dot Aviation coming at you at a cruise. We'll do some in-flight entertainment. We're going to go over a juicy one, UPS 6. Which is, that one hits hard. UPS 6 is a very heavy Green Dot Aviation episode. We're going to watch that in cruise, and it's going to be fun. We're going to see if we can land this puppy in Guatemala City. I haven't attempted it even once, so we're going to find out together. It'll probably be dark, and we're going to be circling terrain with a 747-8. So, yeah. It should be fun. It should be entertaining. I've been going through like a flight sim midlife crisis. Like I've been for all of yesterday, for like 45 minutes to an hour, I was just changing planes and liveries, trying to see what I wanted to fly. Right now, I'm in this funk where like everything I want to fly just isn't out yet. Fokker 100s, F-70, the Turbine Dukes, Piston Duke, the 777, like all these airplanes that I really want to fly just aren't out yet, so I'm kind of just like flipping and flopping back before airplanes. We're probably going to be on the Traumahawk tomorrow, or just want to test that out. Just Flight was kind enough to send me a copy, and I was gone from there, all things sim for the week when it released, but I also love a good Jaybird, so we might have to give that one a try. But yeah, today we're 747. I just wanted to fly something heavy, some heavy metal today. I was watching Flight Deck to Sim fly the ultimate, I think it might be the ultimate X-Plane 12 airplane, is that Fearless 742. It makes this airplane look like a toy, which, I mean, it kind of, 748 compared to a 74200 really is. I mean, the 742 is just an absolute beast, and what Fearless did in X-Plane is just, I mean, it's mind-boggling awesomeness. So we're going to have to go back on X-Plane probably next week, just to fly the Fearless and to fly the Tolus a little bit around, because I watch almost all of Flight Deck's stream today. Man, that 7.4 looked good. So here we are. We're going to do our best. 748. We got a little texture hiccup over here. I don't know what's going on with that. But Queen of the Skies, undisputed beauty. And how beautiful of an airplane would this be if this was still operating? 748 with this livery. Absolute juice. All right, let me get to what we got. AJ here. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. I appreciate you. $3 super chat. What kind of low production crap show is this? Hey, AJ, you finish your laundry, my man? Jeez. Appreciate the support. Thanks for the $3 bank angle check. Crushed those donuts, by the way. They were delicious. JP, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships to the channel. Getting Team Green in the house. Appreciate you, JP. Very, very kind. If you pick up a membership up from JP, make sure you say thank you. So, let's go ahead and get this thing fired up, shall we? We need to Fearless 7.4 to Microsoft. Dale, I'm telling you, if anybody knows Fearless, like, we gotta convince them. There's like, they have a Discord. Like, if he brought that 742 to Microsoft, he would triple his earnings he made on X-Plane. I guarantee you. I would sign a deal with Fearless to fly that airplane only for a month, just to promote it, if he would bring it to Microsoft. I desperately want a classic 7.4 in Microsoft Flight Sim. It would just be absolutely stunning. But we'll see what happens. Is that one of the Boeing plugs? See, it might be, Tim K. That looks like a Boeing plug door. Ironically, the 747-400 United had this door blow out, right? It was a 74, was it a 400? I think it was a 400 that blew out. Or maybe it was a 200, I don't know. On the way to Hawaii out of San Fran? Something like that. Water, what's up, man? Good to see you. Good to see you, man. Who remembers the 744 in this livery in X-Plane 8? Ooh, I didn't dabble in X-Plane 8, Sean. That was not me. I remember this livery on the PMDG 747-400 in FSX. Which, PMDG, what are you doing? Anyway, all right. I guess we got to fire it up. We got our Clarence tonight. We are on, let's see, route, fly, Mosul, or file as filed, 410, squawking 2514. All right, so we got our PDC clearance. We're good to go here. We're going to call for push on 2005. which is departure is online. Absolutely. United 742 had a cargo door. Okay, it was a 742. That makes more sense, not the 400. The 742. Just an absolute beauty, though. Let's get into this bird. Let's fire it up. We are sporting the Payware more right rudder mic, I believe, is the gentleman who made these textures for this airplane, and it is absolutely fantastic. I'm running the extra dirty today just because I'm pretending we pulled the cockpit out of a graveyard and they just stuck it on a new 748. He does have a cleaner version of this, which I've also flown, which is really nice, but I like old beat up cockpits. I figured, why not? We're going down to Guatemala City. Let's fly an old bird down there. A PMDG 7.3 would be a good mix-up. Vance, I almost did it, man. I almost did the 7.3 today. I wanted to fly something heavy. We have, it's been a while since we were in the 7.3. We're going to have to give it a shot again. It doesn't turn the needle for me, man. Maybe the 600. We might have to fly the 7.3 600, pretend it's like a 5 or 400. We might be able to do that, but it has been a while. Rastik, gifting 5 more memberships. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. That's very, very kind. You know the drill, folks. If you get a membership from anybody here tonight, please do say thank you. That is very kind that they support the channel. All right. Gustavo in the house. What's up, man? United 811, 74, 100. 9 people sucked out and lost to the Pacific. Eesh. That's the one, Gus. Good to see you, man. Hope you are well up in the great white Canadian North. All right, let's fire up this puppy, shall we? Make sure the sim sounds are up. We're in and out of rain bands, so I haven't even looked at this airplane since we've flown the long haul. Or no, I think we went to, where'd we go? Guantanamo Bay, so it's been a minute. Let me see if I can remember how to do this. Where is the battery? Right here. Boom. Battery on. Standby power, auto. External power 1, external power 2. She's going to come to life, chat. Oh boy, I guess we got to mute the alert box already. Zach Lewine, gifting 55 more memberships. Dude, appreciate you. Very, very kind. Getting the team green in the house, man. Appreciate you, Zach. Hope you are well. I see you returning the favor. I think you picked up a membership. Returning the favor. Very kind of you, Zach. I hope Azobo fixes DFW. Yes, Sean, me too, man. I wanted to do DFW tonight, but that's literally what turned me off from it, Sean, was the Azobo DFW is just... But, yeah, man, I desperately would love a nice DFW. Sounds like we got the rain coming in again. Let's go ahead and get these puppies into nav. Nav mode on there. We'll go through here. We're going to leave everything off for now. That all looks good. We just get our lights. Let's figure out where all our lights are. I forget where all our lights are. We need nav lights on. We need logo lights on. And everything looks good over here. We don't have any ground power or ground air or anything like that. We will arm the emergency exit lights. We'll close that switch like that. That looks good. With that done, we'll clear this caution, and we will jump down into the box here, do a pause and knit. Let's see if I remember how to do this. I think we need to go to menu, FMC, no, index. Hold on. See, I should have been messing around with this. Menu settings, weight and balance. Set from OFP. Stand by. Completed. Beautiful. Okay, so now we go back to our knit. Let's go KIAH. We'll take the GPS, put it here. Next page. Don't need that route. Route request. We're going to pull this from the old sim brief. The Aloha 7.3 where the roof broke off the fuselage miracle. Oh yeah, Aviator Nick. That's another crazy one. Absolutely indeed, man. This is Payware Houston, AFO. This is Payware Houston, my friend. It's actually really good Houston. Whoever made this one, I forget. Really bad with names, but this Houston's great. We've flown out of here a couple times. We actually took the A300 Continental Meatball down to Mexico City out of here before. Pretty much same gate too, I think. So we're going to load the flight plan in here. Hello from Syracuse. Thank you, Michael Buck. Welcome to the stream, man. Looking forward to a great flight. Well, I hope you enjoy it, my friend. Welcome aboard from Syracuse. And Aviator Nick sharing the love, gifting 10 memberships. Aviator Nick, appreciate you guys. I really appreciate all the support tonight. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, supporting one another, giving people memberships. It's just the love is flowing tonight. Aviator Nick, cheers to you. Very kind. I hope you are well. We were going to do an Air New Zealand ATR stream. We're still going to do it, Aviator Nick. Matter of fact, we might do ATR tomorrow midday-ish. You'll probably be sleeping. but at least I'll have it on VOD. But I want to do some. I watched some Captain Canada flying over near Disneyland. Like, man, we need to fly the ATR out there. We need to fly the ATR out there. All right, let's go perf initialize. Cost index. We're gonna go 350. And then I'm going to pull this after we get the boarding process started. So let's go ahead and get GSX over here. Let's go ahead and request the boarding process. It might take some time, so we're going to get them started up early. And since we're going to be boarding early and we hear, oh, the rain just started pouring again. Look at that, the rain is starting to come in. The rain band's coming in. Got to love the dynamic weather here in Microsoft Flight Sim. We're going to go ahead and fire up the APU as well, so we can get the pneumatics on. Nope, crew is already on board. So let's go ahead and start the APU. Let's take a listen outside. Wow, it's loud. I have to turn the sim down a little bit, actually. Benji, thank you for 16 months of support, my man. Appreciate your answer for a non-member. Not that there is many. Benji. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for the support, dude. Now, I wonder if my South Oaks mod is not installed on this, because I know sometimes you have to mess with the livery CFG, and I don't believe the South Oaks mod is working by default on this. I didn't see any APU smoke. Matthew Kelly gifting 5 memberships. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for 5 more memberships. Man, y'all are on a roll. Appreciate you guys, really, honestly. Appreciate the support. You guys are absolutely awesome. Yes, AFO Flight Tampa did Vegas. Digital Mercs in the house. Good to see you, man. Through the ND500E. Oh, wait, was that smoke? Was there smoke there for a second? Maybe there was smoke. Oh, well. We'll find out because it's raining. We'll find out once we get everything loaded up. What were you saying, Digital Mercs? Through the MD500E on the Captain flight. Ooh, MD500. What's an MD500? Is that the, like, weird-looking one? I can't remember. MD500. But, okay, so engine bleed, APU on. And we're going to leave the GPU on, but we're going to get the packs on like so. That way we'll have some air conditioning. So we've got the packs on from the APU bleed, but we're running ground power from down below. So at least we'll have some air conditioning. With that done, let's do a quick Magic Barrel Ref key and finish our flight plan. 29 or 81 is what we got on the Magic Barrel Ref. Let's come down here, and we're going to leave the perf init blank until we are done loading, just to be safe. And let's pull out our charts. I got Navigraph up here. We're going to be having to use Navigraph today because it's not working on the tablet, right? So we got to use Navigraph this direction or this way, and then we'll figure it on out. So let's go back to airports. Houston loaded up. Dom Pellegrino, a $20 super chat. Very kind of you, sir. I really love Houston's airport. Good to catch you again, Dom. Hope you are well, my man. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Always a pleasure to have you stopping by the stream. Yeah, it's been a while. Hey Dom, I've been wanting to do Osprey stuff and other stuff. There's a lot of stuff that I want to fly. Osprey, Chinook, that's out. But I've just been so stinking busy with everything real life lately that I can barely find enough time to do just a stream on an airplane that I already have. So, but I appreciate you, Dom. Very kind for the $20 super chat. Velociraptor here. Also, man, that's like a big reunion. When's the last time I streamed? Appreciate you, Velociraptor. 17-month badge in the house. And Dom also gifted 5 memberships. You guys are all too kind. Too kind. Thank you so much, Dom, again. Very kind of you. We're over here at the D gates. As far as weather, let's take a look at METAR. 140 at 22, gust 30 here in Houston. Woof. I guess we have to do a Toga takeoff, chat. We're going to be blasting off if winds are 140. We're probably going to blast off of 15 left. Full length is what we want. So let's go departure arrivals. We want 15 left. The flight plan that we have is the Flies Alpha 5, and that's out to the Muscle transition. Now this route I selected is going to take us out over the Gulf, so we'll be out over the water. There was a land route that can take us down over the coast of Mexico, but we're going to go out over the water, a little bit more direct. So let's go back to the route page. Now we can look at our legs and we see what we got here. We got our departure procedure in there off 15 left. we're going to need full length out to Maval. Dougal, I'm doing Maval because for the approach into Guatemala City here, this is going to get kind of spicy. So real quick, let's see what it's doing. This is going to change. So we got winds out of the south today, 180 at 12. So if we look at the ground charts here in Guatemala, the single runway ops, we're going to have to land 2-0. This is going to get spicy. So we're going to land 2-0. Look at the approaches. We might have to circle. The only options we have are RNP Zulus for 2-0. Actually, we might do this one. RMP Yankee, RMP Zulu. Man. RMP X-Ray. Where does this one come in? Where the hell is, what is this? This is an interesting route here. Phil Smopta, good to see you, man. Well, this is interesting. Where's the air? Oh, right here. Ooh. Which one should we do, chat? I think we should do this one off GT 577 or 578. What chart is this? This is the. Oh, we're gonna do this one. RNAV X-Ray 20. So I think we do the RNAV X-Ray. RNP Yankee is meh. We don't want to do that. That's too easy. This is from the opposite end. So we're gonna do the X-Ray 20. And let's load that in right now. So let's go to our departure arrival index. And let's go ahead and select MGGT RNAV X-Ray 20 is what we need. And we want it off of GT 577. We'll take it from over here. I don't know where Maval is on this. Where's the star? Soko, Amasu. Maval. Oh, it's GT 566, but that's not a transition option. Dang it. We would have to go Asoku. So let's go. RNAV X-Ray GT 577. On the Ahsoka star. We're going to execute that. Now, this might look a little funky, but we'll have some time to tackle it. Let me go to the legs page, and we got to step through this here. We'll zoom the range out. We got a lot of passenger time to load up, so let's hide the yoke here too. Why does the outside sound so loud? Why does it sound so loud in the airplane? Can I change the... Hold on. I can barely hear myself think. Can you guys, like, is that just me? Let's see. Other warnings, environment. Yeah, bro, let's... Okay. It's a little bit better, but heavy rain. Heavy rain. Alright, we need to step through this. Route data? How do we step? Legs? We need to go plan mode. There we go. All the way down. Let me zoom out the range a little bit more. Nalda. Maval. So, I tell you what, let's go previous page. Oh, it's right on the transition. Asoku. Here. What's that look like? Maval. We'll probably go direct after. Yeah, actually that'll work just fine. We're going to execute that. Perfect. We'll have a right 90-degree turn. That's fine. We got a long green dot to watch, so we're going to need the time. It's low-key putting you to sleep. I know, that rain is just... it is makes you tired. Alright, let's get some lights on in here though. Let's juice it up. Dome light, glare shield. Let's turn it and get some. It is storming. Oh, the storm light doesn't work. That's all good there. Oh yeah, that looks better. Panel lights. Aha, look at that. Displays are good. Alright. We're looking good now, chat. We got the lights on. We're juiced up. Alright. Let's see. We got a squawk 2514. So let's come down. Where's our squawk code? It's down here. 2514, 2514. We'll put that in above mode, and we'll put it in. We'll just leave it in standby for now. Oop, that's below. Above mode. Alright, so we're above, and we're also got a contact for push 2005. 2005. Nope. Oh, I gotta put the whole thing in, huh? 120050.
The home tour 15 left, the November Delta, November Bravo, November Echo.
Right, I'm going to shut off the volume, though, for now, because we don't need to talk to him just yet. We got our clearance, we got our squawk code, our flight plan's in the box. He said climb initial altitude is climb via SID except maintain 4,000 feet. Let's see if our throttle, not our Throttletek, oh yeah, our, what's this called? Honeycomb Bravo is working. We'll set 4,000. 4,000 feet is set. We'll get the IAS and the heading and all that after. Let's go ahead and go back to our init. We'll leave it here on the perf init. We're going to do that after it's all done. We'll go back to the map page, and we can zoom the range back down. If we could stop zooming, that'd be great. That would be really great if we could stop zooming. And then we'll need the radar on once we blast out of here. So, they're boarding up. I guess the bags are already on board. Now we get back to the chat. Sorry, y'all. It's going to be a long night. William Stin, the $20 super chat, man. Appreciate you. Let me get my alerts back on here. William Stin, appreciate the $20 super chat. Very kind of you. Love the enthusiastic content. Keep the GA coming. GA's coming up, William. I think we're going to take a look at the Traumahawk. You guys want to see the Traumahawk tomorrow? Just Flight has added some crazy. I would have loved to have done, pre-release stuff, but I was gone. Sim, they reached out. I love doing that. The whole GA lineup from Just Flight is awesome. Like Just Flight never really struck me as a GA developer, I guess. But man, they've been bringing out some good GA birds for Microsoft. So I wasn't around to do pre-release stuff, but like I said, I spoke to Just Flight the other day, and I think we're gonna have to take it up for a spin, literally. Team Vodka's probably gonna have flashbacks. Dom Pellegrino upgraded to commercial pilot. Well, welcome to the exclusive lounge, Dom. Glad to have you on board. Dougal McTavish, good to see you. Hope you are well, Dougal. Hope you're having a nice, lovely Sunday evening. Might be getting kind of late. Maybe you already had dinner. Maybe you got yourself a little beverage. You're going to hang out with us tonight. Nevertheless, always a pleasure to have you on board. Water. U.S. Navy has joined the chat. Thank you so much, man, for 10 gifted memberships to the channel, Water. That's kind of you, my friend. Hope the government is taking good care of you, my friend. Appreciate the support, Water. Very kind. I've heard about the Tomahawks. My instructor warned me to keep away from them. Yeah, Dale. I think I've done less than 5 flights in the Tomahawk. And we only had one in our fleet. And it was gone, like, right after I got there. And I didn't do spins or anything in it. I hear voices in the background. Do you guys hear voices in the background? Am I losing my mind? Let me make sure I don't have any other tabs open. No other tabs are open. I keep hearing, maybe it's not GSX. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they're just saying hello. Cockpit there. We could probably get those pumps in auto. I'm definitely losing my mind. Maybe. A2A Comanche. See, while I know the Comanche is phenomenal, I don't have a personal connection to the Comanche. I've never flown a Comanche in real life. So while it's a phenomenal GA bird in the sim, I lack that intimate connection, It's the ATC beta. It might be. But we have the radio muted. AFO. Oh, it is. I hear what it is. It's the passengers. It's the passengers boarding. I got my commercial multi and a twin Comanche. Godspeed, AFO. That'll put hair on your chest. Delta Tango, never a good sign when the captain says I'm hearing voices in the background. Well, I confirmed it's those boarding people. I can hear it now. All right, we'll leave the GPU connected for now. We got APU power up. That's in the auto position. I guess what we can do is get our fuel tank pumps on. Main pumps, no override. Window heats can come on. Actually, we'll get those after. We don't need window heats. Actually, they'd probably be on at the gate, wouldn't they? I don't know. Any 7.4 pilots in chat? You do window heat at the gate before startup? Everything else looks good for right now. All right, that'll clear up some messages. We got TCAS off, wing anti-ice off, entry and fuel tank to engine. So that's probably not right. So how about we just shut you off? I swear. We want tank to engine is what we want. We'll figure it up after start, but we pull the fuel page up here. We want main, they're all balanced. Nothing in the center. So we just want tank to engine, I believe. We got a long way to load here, jeez. These are the more right rudder mic textures, Nabil. 100% about the cows. Yeah, the diamond. I know. That's another one I should check out. But I never flew the Twin Star, so it's like same thing. You know, no personal connection. I'm a Piper Seminole kind of guy. I know the cockpit rain makes me sleepy, man. I hear ya. We'll sort of hang back on the jump seat right here. We get some boarding tunes on. Go all XP. I saw XP fly on the 757 and X-Plane. Man, he's got the right livery for it too. Bare metal gray. He's live right now. Tell him he should divert to Houston instead of San Francisco. Oh, that's one hell of a divert. Probably doesn't have the gas for it. Let's see here. Let's do some. Since we got to board in real time. I feel like this is part of electing to fly a 748. Like, you have to wait through. I could speed up the boarding process, but then it's like betting with house money. Yeah, you don't have more. It's not personal on the line. Like, I'd rather if you wait for the whole boarding process, then it just adds to the whole vibe of doing a long haul. Not even a long haul, doing a wide body flight. Let's see what we got here on the boarding music selection. Lear 35 wins. Steven! I just got an update for it too today. I don't know, man. Soon. TM. I am going to be gone this week, y'all. I'm going back to Texas. I got a 3-day fishing tournament. I'm going to be fishing at the end of next week. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then I got to go back. I got to do some stuff on the house out there. So I'm probably going to leave tomorrow evening. So we'll probably do one more stream tomorrow, midday-ish. Either ATR or Lear. I haven't decided yet. And then I'm going to be gone a couple days. But I'm bringing the Starlink with me. I'm going to bring the router. And I have the other PC there. So we might try to do a podcast. Or I might try just doing a stream. Because I have Microsoft installed on the PC that's over there now. I'd be curious to see what Starlink does now up there, but no fingers are crossed for sure. What's wrong with DFW now? It just fixed purple text a few weeks ago. I don't know. Every time I go, it's just not right, dude. The whole airport is just meh. And it's heavy on frames. Like, when I spawn into default DFW, it's, ugh. My frames are terrible. And it's a default airport, so I don't understand, like, what's going on there. I'm going to try AJ, yeah. I was hoping you were doing folding your laundry. I flew a 744 from SFO to Haneda, Japan in 2014. Nice. So, you know what's kind of cool? So we did the Sydney-LA route, right, in the 74 Qantas. My good friend from flight school, good buddy of mine, he's from Australia originally. He's just an awesome dude. We're good friends, and I'm so happy for him. He just did his first flight into Sydney as a first officer. He flew a 777 SFO to Sydney, and then round-tripped it back. But it was like a full-circle moment for him, you know, because like, he's always wanted to fly to Sydney, growing up in Australia. Obviously emigrated to the United States. We did flight school together. He's actually on United, so it was just cool. He was posting pics of that the other day. Really cool moment for him. Default DFW satellite is broken and overlaps with the taxiways, leading to graphics performance issues. That would probably explain it, Jet Delta, because I've just loaded in like not even wanting to stream, just want to check out DFW for the weather or do just my own like personal flight. Can't. It's just like ugh. Yes, who was asking about the force feedback? Sorry, sir, and it is the Brunner force feedback yoke. I'll show you right now. I should have the cam up. Right here, force feedback from Brunner. Right now with the hydraulics on, I can move it nice and freely. With hydraulics off, it's actually locked out. But this is a profile that Vodka and I worked on. It's also on the Brunner Cloud if you have the Brunner force feedback yoke. Not a sponsor, wish it was, but it's just something that I really enjoy using. But yeah, we're going to be knocking that out, or we're going to be using that on our flight tonight. Mickey G in the house, man. Good to see you, dude. Mickey G. Appreciate the bourbon, my friend. I'm going to have, as soon as I finish this coffee, I'm going to text the flight attendant. Hopefully she'll bring down a bourbon. Nice fresh Woodford double oaked, courtesy of Mickey G. And a couple of others on that last stream we did. That was a fun stream in the Phoenix we did. Was that the last flight we did together? Man, it's been a wild couple of days, y'all. I miss y'all. Like, I haven't been able to hang out with you guys so much. I'm like, oh, I was going to stream all week. But just life stuff, man. Life gets in the way. Attack foam uninstalled. Yes. Oh, that was it. That was it. The donut stream, AJ. You're right. We had the attack foam. I'm telling you, that was legit. Go watch the replay, man. The attack foam was real. Yes, we are doing Green Dot Aviation for in-flight entertainment today. And it's going to be UPS 6, which is a heavy one for me. I remember when that accident happened, I was flying with a friend of the first officer when it happened. Or shortly after it happened, rather, I think. Yeah. You talk about heavy. I watched that episode a while back when Green Dot released it. But I figured since we're flying a 7.4 tonight, we're going to do it. He also has a new 7.4 video out that I haven't watched yet. But I want to fly this. We're going to do in-flight entertainment on the Felis. I think we might have to take the Felis into Quito. Who would fly from Guatemala City to Quito, Ecuador? What airline would do that? Is there anybody that would do that non-stop? If there is, we need to see if there's a Felis 742 livery, and then we're gonna fly a Felis 74 from Guatemala City. That'd be a hell of a takeoff. I don't know. We'd have to look at the perf numbers on that. We wouldn't be able to take a lot of weight. I mean, I think Guatemala City is 7,000-8,000 feet. Let's take a look at it. Let me see here. Let's pull up the good old Navigraph. Taxi chart for Guatemala. I can never find it on here. Threshold? No. Just give me an approach chart. I know exactly where it is. It's it's only 5,000 feet. Oh, so maybe. Well, 5,000 feet, legit. Who knows what the temperature, the density altitude would be up there. First time I ever flew to Guatemala City, this is the approach we did. It was the ILS Zulu 2. And then we circled, I believe. No, VOR 2. Yeah. ILS was out, and we did the VOR Zulu or Yankee, I can't remember. And we had a circle for 2-0. Because of the winds. That was the approach we did. VOR, circle, in Guatemala City. But, yeah, we're going to be doing the RNAV X-Ray 2-0 tonight, which I don't think I've ever flown. I don't think I've ever landed. Honestly, I don't think I've ever landed 2-0 going to Guatemala City. Every time I've gone down there, I feel like I landed 2 or had to circle for 2. Martin Air does a 7.4 between 2. Martin Air? Interesting, Tim K. That would be a cool freighter op. That'd be a cool freighter op. How are we doing on passengers? They're still coming down the jet bridge. Almost done. Aerogal, now Avianca Ecuador does it. Right. Avianca 742. Latam Chile, yeah, maybe. Pack 17, man, I never know the difference, man. GE or Rolls, I'm not sure. You tell me. What are those engines? They look juicy, though. And we also have the Wing Flex mod on here, courtesy of Zippy Zapple. That's in the Discord exclusively. If you want to check it out, it's pinned somewhere in the Discord. Good luck finding it. Way too many channels there. I don't know who runs that Discord. But we do have the Wing Flex. I don't think our South Oak effects is going to work today, though. Because sometimes certain liveries require you to do a slight edit to the CFG. And I didn't do it for this livery. And when we started up, I didn't see the APU puff. So, probably no effects on this flight. It is the Brunner Serene. I have the CLS ENG. I have the CLS ENG yoke. Yes, that's the one I have. And it's not the larger one. It's the smaller one. And I can tell you, I've flown everything from the 7.4 to the Piper Arrow, and I haven't needed any additional travel. But obviously, if budget doesn't apply, then go all out. But I have zero. My only qualm, I'll talk about this. This is actually a good point to bring up. The only negative that I've really found on this yoke so far is this trim switch is on top of the grip here. So if you have the TCA Boeing yoke, when you have your hand on the yoke, it's really easy to go up and down with the trim, right? Which most airliners are the same way. This one, you kind of have to get up on top. And if you have smaller hands, it could definitely be an issue. Like for me, it's not too bad of an issue, but like you can't be like flying down here and then trim. So you have to like adjust your hand to get up to that trim hat, which is up there. That's the only negative that I have found out about, that I have discovered while flying with this force feedback yoke. So it's more like a GA. I guess GA would be up on top maybe, but. Other than that, it's been solid. I've had zero issues with it. Sometimes it's a little tricky getting the profiles to work just because the sim is can be kind of wonky. But other than that, the profiles that we get done they work out pretty good. All right, it looks like we're about done. We'll fade this out. Boom, you're out of here. And what we're gonna do is we got the GPU up and running. So let's kill the packs, except pack 2. Or I think we can do 2 packs. We'll do pack 2 and 3. Pack 1 is off. And then we will go to APU generator. On and on. So APU gens are on. We're off from external power. We're almost completely loaded up. As soon as we're done loading, we're going to finish our init. And then we are going to set our speeds. And we are going to push back and head out of here. Will the UAL buses also be sent to MGGT to retire? I don't know. I don't know, E to the D. I don't think United sends buses down to Guatemala City, honestly. Most of the Airbuses at United stay in the U.S. Not always, but the 7.3 definitely is head down there. All right, we are boarded up. So with the boarding complete, let's go ahead and do this. Boom. Reserves. I don't know how much we're going to take. We're going to take, let me just see what our flight plan said for reserve. Sim briefing, extra. I don't know. Let's just take like 20. I don't know. I can't find it. We'll just put 20 in there. Oh. We're gonna have to slow our cost index down. We'll go 15. Let's see. Thrust limit. We're doing TO1. No D rates. Takeoff. Let's go ahead and our takeoff position for this is what? Flaps 5. No, can't do 5. How about, can we only do flaps 1? No. Maybe we need 10? We do need 10. CG is 18, trim is 6.2 on the units, so we will set 6.2 in the green. 6.2 is set. 38, 40, 42. I'm not going to put the takeoff gross weight in there because sometimes that bugs out and you get all kinds of screwed up. So 160 is V2. We're going to bug 250 knots. What's our clean? Do we have a clean speed? I wish it told us like our V2 plus 10, 170. I'm just going to bug 250 because I'm not going to mess around with it. Flaps 10 or 20. Okay, thanks, Thrustset. We'll do flaps 10. About 250. Looks like push isn't online. Looks like center's offline now, so we'll go ahead and just push back. 250 knots. That is set. We get flight director 1 and 2 are on 4,000 initial, and bank limit is all the way over to 25, right? Yeah, so we don't need to worry about that. All right. Let's close it up and get out of here. Rain has stopped, so that's good. Alright, departure clearance requested. And yeah, it looks like Houston just shut down. So we need taxi charts for Houston.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Ground tower 15 left. We'll be on 27.3. Or 15 left is what we want. So we need to be on 127.3.
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
Houston traffic, United 357 Heavy. We're going to push and be back off gate D10. Taxi on 15 left, Houston. Alright, so they're just about ready downstairs. Let's do one more overhead sweep here. We're going to come up to the top. We'll get the beacon, both lower and upper is on. Logos are on. Strobes are off. Engine bleeds. Packs off, bleeds on. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That is set. I feel like there was something else I had to do here and I forget. That's alright. I think we're good. Everything else looks good. Alright, we're ready. Oh, now we don't have that bug over there. Interesting. We need to go nose right, facing west on apron.
Release parking brakes, please.
Cockpit to ground. Brakes are released. You're clear to push.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
You flew through Houston earlier and they didn't contact you? Interesting, Steven. You should get banned. Alright, we got 4 engines to start. We're going to start them up 3 and 4 and then 1 and 2. Juicy indeed. 2 good starts on 3 and 4. Brad Delamont. Thanks for 20 months of support, my friend. Oh yeah, the queen. The queen indeed, man. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support. 20 months as a member here on the channel. Very cool. Let's go ahead and go start 1, 2.
Please set parking brakes.
Brakes set, clear disconnect. Show me the pin out front. There goes max motoring. like the 7.4 because this guy doesn't clip through the airframe. Ooh, yeah. Smash the like button for 747 operations. Goodness me.
Left is clear.
Kyle
Right is
Lewis
clear.
dropping 5 gifted memberships. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. Very kind, man. Thank you, thank you. Skywise, we're going to Guatemala City, my friend. Why do I have no V-speed here? Oh, I gotta actually hit the button. There we go. Alright, tug, toe, and pin off the left. Ooh, look at that triple. Ooh, baby, that's dirty. Okay, we need to get these on. I don't want the overrides on. Maybe crossfeed's off. That's what we wanted. Look at them down there. We're giving them a pin. All right, we got 4 good starts. We got a pin. We got our tank to engine complete. Ooh, I should have been running through the checklist, y'all. We'll do the checklist after we get everything else on. Let's do our flows. Coming up here, APU gens are still on. We're gonna get the packs on. APU bleed, or APU bleed is off, and we can go ahead and power down the APU. APU is coming down. Coming over here, we're going auto, and these are all off. That is normal. Window heats are on. That all looks good. And I felt there was always something else I had to do up here. Maybe we already got it. We got the emergency lights. We can't move this valve. Everything else looks good. It's kind of hot and stuffy in the 7.4. Let's run these down a little bit. There we go. Alright, everything else looks good on the overhead. We're doing a flaps 10, so that's going to be 2. Let's do it from the windowed flap view. 1510. And the rain is starting again. God, I love this sim. Smash the like button for the rain. If you like rain, smash the like button, because I love rain. I'm a simple man. I get excited at small things like that. Just rain bands moving through the airport. In real life, you'd be like, did you run wet numbers? Okay, good. Make sure you ran wet numbers. Because now it's raining. Alright, we got 4 good starts. Flaps 10. Everything else looks good. TCAS is off, but it should be in TARA. And now, let's run through our checklist here. So, pre-flight, that is checklist complete. So, oh. Normal. How do I? Pre-flight, normal menu. Before taxi checklist. Anti-ice is on recall. Checked. Auto brakes are RTO. Flight controls. Well, let's not just do that little checky check. Let's make sure. Flight controls are actually checked. Trim 6.2. Check. Back to the checklist. I don't want item override. Okay, normal checklist. Yeah, taxi complete, normal. Before taxi, flight controls, ground equipment is clear, APU is off. Normal. Before takeoff, flaps are checked. That leaves us at there. So that is good. We'll leave that down there for after takeoff. And we're going to find our way out to 15 left. Houston traffic, United 357, taxi on 15 left, United Houston traffic. Alright, speeds are set, 250, auto throttle, we'll get that on the runway, flight directors are on, taxi lights are over here. Give more flaps. Sorry, wingnut. 10 is all we got today. Alright, brakes released. Rolling cameras on. Let's go. Oh, that is so awesome. How do you not love the 747? I mean, the 74 is like, it's the undisputed queen. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The 747, 100%, is the undisputed queen. I'm already skidding. Look at that. I'm already skidding. I gotta slow down here. This takeoff, y'all, could be really special. We could go from outside view. But in order to do that, we gotta hit 300 likes. Because we haven't streamed in a while, and I'm not gonna be streaming for a while after tomorrow. So we're gonna need maximum algorithms. So if we hit 300 likes, we'll do an outside view Toga takeoff. Where are the wipers at on this thing? I know you're up there. Find it with your eyes first. Alright, I'm gonna hit the brakes. Where are the doggone wipers? There we go. They don't really work though. It's for the views though. Everyone likes to see them. Golly. Can you imagine a PMDG 74? Got that nose wheel long. I don't know why the beacon light isn't coming on. We had this before, didn't we? Alright, we're taxiing out. Nice and slow. Matthew Kelly, thanks for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Keep them likes coming. Almost 300. We need 75 more likes. We'll do an outside view. Listen to this. Listen. You guys want to hear this from outside view? I'll give you a teaser. That's a little teaser. Traded in my cafe con leche today for a Cubano, iced Cubano. I keep wanting to grab my Airbus thrust levers when they're down here. Gotta go up here. My 7.4 glitch is out. I love the 310. Dennis, why is your 7.4 glitch out, man? Shouldn't. This is a Zobo 7.4. It's been updated. I enjoy it, man. I actually think the 7.4, while obviously it's not PMDG, but I prefer it over the 787, even the Horizon mod 7.8, and I don't know why that is. I mean, I think 320 Sim Pilot or 787 Sim Pilot said that the 7.8's actually not that bad, but if that's how it really flies, I guess I just don't really like 787. This, I feel like there's a little bit, I don't know, maybe it's just placebo effect because I love 4 engines, I don't know. Ice nitro with oat leche. Really, Nabil? Interesting. That sounds pretty good. Rotate MD-11. Where is that? Ooh, Ryan. We could go X-Plane rotate him. We should do retro week. We should do 74200, 727, and rotate MD-11. That would be a spicy week of streaming. Steven says, I flew the Horizon 7.8 today and it just does not spark joy. Yeah, I'm the same way, Steven. Like, it doesn't light the fire for me, you know? We're definitely going to have to turn the radar on after departure here. I agree, Peter. 7.4 is the most beautiful aircraft ever. I 100% agree with you. Alright, 1.5 left full length, so we're going to make a slight left and then a right. That's from upstairs. focusing out. Is that southwest in Canyon Gold? Look at that juice. I don't think they're on the same frequency as me. I'm on tower for 1-5 left. Got a little line up, a little wait here for departure, y'all. Force feedback with the MD-11 will feel authentic in the sense of weight. You know what? I haven't done any. I gotta stop. Look at that. You're going so fast you don't even know. I haven't done any force feedback in X-Plane yet. That's something we really gotta try out. That's actually a really good point. Team Vodka, I need you to fire up X-Plane 12, man. Retro livery on the Southwest is just awesome. Oh, you're right. We'd have to buy the rotate again. I don't know if I want to buy the rotate MD-11 again. We may have to skip that. It's not a free update, right? From 11 to 12? Is that a Learjet? Is that Team Vodka? Team Vodka, are you taking off in a Learjet out of here? Windsock is straight out. Look at this 7.4. Look how big we are compared to that little 7.3. I mean, we're gonna eat his lunch here.
Eastern traffic, United 1545 taxiing at runway 15 left, November Bravo, November Echo Whiskey Whiskey, Houston traffic.
TFDI stream when it comes out? Oh yeah, Big Sierra. You bet, man. We'll be in the TFDI. I'll pick that one up. I didn't pre-order the TFDI. I had their 717 in P3D, which was nice. More than nice. It was great, actually. I really enjoyed it. I think their MD-11 is going to be good. It's all about time, right? I think they're a little ways off. Hold on, I want to check this view out. If we go here, I wanted to try to get, hold on, where's drone cam? Rip ears. Oh boy, we're going to hit him. We're going to hit him. Brakes, brakes, brakes. Hold on. Look at this. I forgot you can't hit the brakes in drone cam, so that's pretty cool. I mean, he's being all professional on center line. I'm sitting here with my taxi lights on and off center line. Oh, those are turn-offs lights. Those weren't even taxi lights. Rip. Fake pilot. All right, don't remember, if we had 300 likes, we're gonna do outside view Toga, but I'm gonna need 300 likes, so we got some work to do. We need 60 likes away. 60 likes away. Dom, that's you in the 7.3? My 7.3 isn't well and dad. Dom, appreciate it. $5 bank egg check or super chat, man. Sorry, dude. Hey, good choice on the livery though. But I mean, you can tell Dom is, look, you know he's in the military. He'd bang on that center line. Well, he's actually one tire width off, but I bet on his scenery, he's bang on. I mean, if I was right behind him and you could see the wings like doubling up. That's pretty cool. Hey Jay, thanks for a $3 super chat. You versus the man she told you not to worry. Yeah, that would be a problem. That would be a problem. Benny's in the house. Good to see you, man. Hope you're well. Thank you for the 40K. Congrats. Appreciate you, man. There goes Dom. Brakes release. Let's pull it up here. get on center line. Alright, I'm going to put the weather on now because we're here. We don't need the airport data. Don't drop the soup. Big Sierra, man. Thanks for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Don't drop the soup. Pass me the soup. We need the soup. We are 5 flights away from outside the Toga. 5 likes, chat. 5 likes from an outside view Toga. I mean, it's loud just sitting there. Oh, you're in the longitude T5. Nice. See that little Neo over there. A couple more unnighteds on their way up. There he goes. Should we caution wake turbulence? 312 likes. We're doing outside view Toga. It's going to be ripping loud. So I'm going to warn y'all right now, if you have headphones on, I'm not changing the volume from what it is right now. Matter of fact, I just juiced it up a few extra percents. So whatever it is, I'm not going to hear myself talk. You're probably not going to be able to hear yourself think, but we're doing outside view Toga. You've been warned. Let's line up and wait. Houston traffic, United 357, line up and wait, 15 left. Actually, you're not supposed to say that. Don't control it. All right, here we go. Lights are on, strobes on, wings on, logos on. I feel like we probably should have... What's the outside air temp up in here? Oh, it's plus 26. We're fine. But here we go. All right, auto throttle is armed. 250 selected. We're Toga. Yeah, we could probably kill the wipers. Well, we'll kill the wipers once we get in position. We don't even in real life, like once I'm lined up, I turn the wipers off. Because as soon as you start rolling, you don't need the wipers. Matter of fact, I'm already tired of them. Let's just turn them off now. All right, let's see. How do we get a good line up here? We'll slow down about 4 knots probably. Still undercut it. Look at that. I gotta adjust. How's that? That's pretty good. All right. Well, we'll give him another, I don't know, 30 seconds. It's a 737, so we'll probably be eating them up. $4,000 auto throttles on, ready to go. With Toga, let's put you on the. Matter of fact, let's go legs page here. Taps. Here we go. Houston traffic, United 357 departing runway 15 left. Houston traffic. All right, chat. You asked for it. You hit the like button. This one's for you. Spool them up 50. Yoga's in chat. Yoga. Holy throttle hold, Toga. We should arm LNAV too. And VNAV.
V1.
That was quick. We're light. Positive rate. Fly with 0. Flaps 5. Zoom the range out here.
Bank angle, bank angle.
Bank angle check. Wow, we actually got a bank angle. That's on me. Thrust ref, LNAV, VNAV speed. Tell you what, we don't have ATC online, so let's keep going. Let's run it up to about 10 thou. Trim it down a little bit, trim it down. Flaps 1. Turn the sim down a little bit. Wow, we got solid red out there. Oh, there's a restriction here at 4,000, I think. Yeah, there is. 5-0. We're level at 4. It is choppy. We are getting bumped around. Let's go ahead and flight level change it. We don't have any ATC on, so we'll go thrust LNAV flight level change up to 10,000 feet. See if we can punch out of this soup. Ooh, I saw a little bit of a wing view, a little bit of a break out there on the wing view. We got a little hole right here. Let's keep spinning that altitude up. Houston traffic, United 357 out of 4.8, climbing to flight level 410, southbound, last call, Houston. .410 is set. She's trying to break out. Woo! Look at that wing flexing though. Yeah, we're in some storms here. Look at that. We're kind of hitting a clear spot on the radar and we've just broke out. That's actually pretty neat. Press speed on the MCP. Oh, so we have back to our FMC climb mode? Is that what you want? Wouldn't we just push that? Or no, we'd go back to VNAV is what we would do. There we go. VNAV climb, thrust ref. LNAV, VNAV speed. That's what we wanted. Keep hand flying it here for a little bit. Oh man. I wish we had the South Oak effects working on this stream. Probably would have been pretty darn good. Yeah, you see the wing flexing there? That's a nice little
Houston traffic, United 1545 lining up 15 left, Houston traffic.
All right, there's 10,000 feet. We'll roll it over. And we'll get our lights once we get straightened out here. Nabil, I agree with you, man. For a default airplane, I have a whole lot of fun with this bird. A whole lot of fun with this bird. I'm going to trim it down just a tad. It'll go up to the... Uh-oh. I don't know what happened there. We all right? You know, I had a crazy stutter leaving Houston the last stream we did out of Houston. Let's get all our lights. Beacon, nav, strobe, wing, and logo off. Zoom this range out a little bit. Looks like we're going to be on top of all that stuff. I want to brighten up the outboard, inboard NDs if I can anymore. Pretty much maxed out. Yep. accelerating 340 knots. All right, I'm gonna turn the sim down a little more if you don't mind. Woo! Yeah, we need a soupy emoji. Gosh, look at that. I wish Zippy Zapple was here to see his wing flex in motion. All right, we can also go to Unicom. Nabil, Salty did, but then what happened is, so after the update, Microsoft, working title, working title is like the default now. So working title was making updates to it, and then after, I don't remember which sim update it was, but then it was just included by default. So if you have an updated sim, you will have the same 748 that I'm flying. There's transition, we'll hit the Magic Barrel ref key. 29902 is set STDs across the board. Climbing up to 410. I mean, we're doing 3,200 feet a minute and accelerating to 310 knots. That's crazy.
You got this.
What was the Bruder doing apart? Did you feel rumbling on the runway way to the plane? Sarah, yes. So depending on, you configure all of that in the profile. The 748, you don't feel much of that because it's not like, for instance, a GA where you feel all of that. But yes, you can dial it in where you feel the bumps in the runway and all that. I'm pretty sure you don't feel bumps in the runway on a 748, though. Or like little bumps. But you can absolutely, if you want it, you can make that more in your profile. This profile that I'm using is one that I've uploaded to the cloud. It's fly-by-wire, so it's not like your traditional Boeing aircraft where the 748 just got fly-by-wire. So I've kind of done the best to replicate that. You have artificial feel units, and you get that resistance with airspeed, but it's artificial. 748 flattens the bumps. Andre, I did see the absolute smasher, and that was pretty wild. All right, we'll get centered up here, and then we'll turn the autopilot on. Now, I do hope the autopilot works with this profile that Team Vodka made. But that 748 in LA, man. Just a late flare. That's really what it looked like. Alright, that's pretty much all we've got there. Come on, day. A little aggressive, but she works. We'll go back to full screen cam. Turn down the sim just a little bit more. It's Turk in the U.S. It's like the it's hydraulic, but it's like the Embraer. It's like, what is it? PCU? I can't remember. It's not control cables, I promise you. Not control cables to the other ones. I think it's control cables to the hydraulic, which is then assisted like. Yeah, partial. Similar to how the Embraer 170-190. But, I mean, realistically, in flight simulation, you're only going to be, every airplane you have is it's going to be fly-by-wire, right? Because you're simulating force feedback. But the Brunner, the software, CLS to Sim, is pretty powerful stuff. You can do quite a lot of detailed programming to make it have more if you want more. What texture mod? Andre, I'm using the more right rudder mic Payware texture mod, and I'm using his dirty version on this flight. He has a dirty and a clean. We're doing the dirty one today. So some people say it's too dirty for them, but I like it. I mean, it's like, it's roughed up, been in the boneyard, and United just pulled it out of the boneyard for this flight down to Guatemala City. And then we're going to leave it there. Guatemala to Panama on the Embraer 190, Cobot. Ooh, that's actually not a bad idea, Christopher Cope Robinson. That's not a bad idea. Our auto brake is off. Actually, let's do our checklist. We have a checklist. Normal menu. After takeoff. Landing gear flaps. Checklist complete. So that pretty much leaves us at descent check. We'll leave it there. Now let's double check our prog fuel. fuel. Okay, so we're going to be nice and light. 16.4. That doesn't give us a whole lot of gas. 16.4 may sound like a lot, but what are we burning right now? Fuel flows. How do we go to engine? Yes. Yeah, right now 9.1, 9, 18, 27, 36. Wow, 36,000. Our flight time to Bill is roughly going to be a little over 2 hours. We do have our in-flight entertainment coming at you once we reach our cruise altitude. We got a long in-flight entertainment one. It's like a 30-something minute video from Green Dot Aviation on UPS 6. I'm gonna get up there. We'll get to cruise. I kind of want to let the sun set a little bit because that whole UPS 6 video is at night. So we'll let the sun. I want to let the sun kind of go down a tad. Can we dream force feedback pedals next? Yeah, if Bruner wants to hit me up, I would love to do a sponsorship with them. But for me, honestly, I can't justify the purchase of force feedback pedals. It's not that I don't want them. It's just in light of everything that I like, a new computer on the horizon, building a new computer, just, you know, overhead expenses to run the channel. Like, there's just a lot of other things that are higher on the priority list than force feedback pedals. Because and I'm trying to think, like, I mean, flying GA, it would be great, you know, especially like dead foot, dead engine, multi-engine, single engine training would be awesome. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe Bruner will get back to me. Mickety Mike, 42 months of support. Mickety Mike, appreciate you. This is for 42 months of support here on the channel, man. Very, very kind. New build, are we upgrading? Oh, not yet. Not yet, Nabil. I'm waiting to kind of see what happens with 2024. And if... also plus the move, like, so we got to get the move completed and all that stuff first. So there's other things, but eventually, yes, I do need to upgrade the rig. And really, what's interesting, Nabil, is my PC that I run this on does not have any Wi-Fi capability. So even if I attempted to stream over Wi-Fi on this computer, it's not possible unless I got like an adapter and they're not powerful enough. Now I put an upgraded PC over at the house to test. I'm going to do a test stream this week on Starlink. I just want to see if it's even feasible because they're coming out with a new router. There is a new router out for Starlink, and if it's feasible to stream through Starlink, which the speeds are there, it's the drop frames that I don't want to be there in the latency. So I'm going to do some testing. But if it works on that motherboard with like a built-in wireless motherboard, then I'm going to be forced to do a huge upgrade to the Sim PC with a Wi-Fi compatible motherboard. Basically just going to build a new PC. But again, that's in the future. A lot of things we gotta square away first. Still rocking the Pratt & Whitney 4000 instead of the GENX? Kyle Ferris, probably, man. It's way too confusing to install the other one. That is one thing that drives me nuts about FT Sim, is the installing is really extra steps. I mean, I can't believe we're doing 2,000 feet a minute, 8.6 Mach at a 41,000 feet. Jeez. We might have to slow down. Hold on. 0058 is estimated time now is 23. So that's 2 hours right now. Okay, that's fine. Icing. I'm getting icing. All right, let's go on. There's no way we should be getting icing. Let's go auto on all these. And we'll put wing anti-ice in the auto as well. I don't know if I'm hearing things, but I feel like when I turned on those anti-ice valves, that the engine spooled down a little bit. There's nothing like running a cable. I'm in the internet by the wire team. Oh, Phil, I'm right there with you, man. For years I've actually rented offices because I couldn't get wired internet to where I'm at. And, like, of course, the house that I'm leaving now, we have fiber, so it's like, great. Oh, we got fiber now? Let's move back to a house that doesn't have any wired internet. So, yeah, I hear you, man. My hopes are minimum to nil for it to actually work out. Icing, yay donuts. Andre says, have you heard about Stig Aviation? Yes, I have. I just found out about it. Pretty cool. He shows airplanes from a mechanic perspective. Yep. Andre, I found out about that channel because y'all have been watching it, so it ended up in my newsfeed, and I ended up watching it, and it's some of my bedtime YouTube. Throw on a Stig Aviation and go to sleep. Mick Shiggity, pilot in the house. How's it going, man? Good to see you. Hope you are well. Good evening to you, sir. Love the support wings on your name badge there. That's awesome. Thank you so much for the support, Shiggity Pilot. I think we're going to have to bust out the bourbon. I'm going to have to text the flight attendant. What do y'all think? When we get to cruise, I'm going to have to text the flight attendant. Name howitzer? Manuals. Manuals, my friend. I mean, we crushed it to 41,000 feet. That is insane. What's our VNAV, Econ, 41? I wish it gave me like an Optimum 400, max 41. Okay, so we're at the max. Econ speed 867. Final on the descent. What if we change 348.6? We'll wait till we level off. We might mess with it here. Leveling off at 410. Geez, how long did it go till we take off? I'm blown away by how fast this thing climbs. Interesting how American has both IEs, CFMs. Yeah, they got them all, man. Andre says, I'm finishing the university this summer, planning to become a pilot in the future, based in a year. Nice. So not where you are, but do you have any tips, Andre Nerds? Enjoy the journey, man. Don't just be locked in on the destination. Right? Enjoy the entire process of becoming a pilot, going through the school, learning all the basic stuff. Enjoy it, man. I feel like I did, but looking back, I also feel like I could have enjoyed the moment a little bit more, especially when I got into the instructing. I need to turn this bank angle limit down a little bit here, chat. Oh no. Let's turn that bank angle limit down. Up here, 41,000 feet, like 10 degrees max, maybe. Alright. That might cause it to overshoot. I wonder how that works out. I bet in the real airplane, if you run this down, it would actually adjust when it's going to start the turn. It would have to work that way. All right, we've leveled off here at 41,000 feet. Let's run through a little systems check. First and foremost, progress page, MGGT is at 0057, so we'll probably start descending at 0015. That's not even an hour. Like, it's a little over, like almost an hour exactly. So we should be fine. We'll leave it here at 8.6, 41,000 feet. Smooth ride, seatbelt sign is coming off, wherever it is. Oh, you know what? That's what I forgot to turn on. Seatbelt sign is off now. I never turned it on for takeoff. Everyone's just floating around. So that's good. That's a good check. Nothing to check here. Electrical, everything's good. So we'll just put it on. We'll just blank it out like it should be. All right, 410, seatbelt sign is off. We've reached cruise altitude. And there she is, the queen of the skies. Gosh, I love this gray. Battleship gray, just absolute juice. Absolute. LNAV gives you bank angle protection already. The bank angle is for you. Oh, Felipe, that makes total sense. That makes total sense. Thank you. Got my first PC yesterday, doing my first flight right now. For some reason, this thing is shutting down the entire house Wi-Fi, and nobody except me can do anything. Hey, gotta love it, DFW spotter. You can check your lapse time by hitting stat button for lower. Oh. Is there a way to get 747 cargo? Yes, you can. There is a 748 cargo. If you buy the livery or the proper livery with the, it has like a modded, so it looks like it's got that cargo hump. But as far as it having big cargo doors and everything, I do not believe so. I don't know. Someone in chat will probably give you a better answer. Oh my gosh, I wish I could fly the 7.4. Maybe I should just throw away everything I've done and just go fly Atlas Air Cargo. Fly 7.4. Man, that's a cool looking airplane. Don't know about the 748 V1, but the 7.5 bank limiter works in heading mode. Yeah, reset jet, and that 100% makes sense. Yes, that was on me. Perfect delivery for the 7.4 makes it look like an absolute unit. Sure does. All right, this is what we're going to do, chat. I am going to get us ready for green dot. But before we do green dot, I am going to actually, first and foremost, we're going to text a flight attendant for a bourbon, and then I'm going to hit the lab real quick, and then we're going to settle in with the green dot aviation episode, because that's going to be, I'm excited to watch this one. Let's see. There we go. Where do you guys want to sit? Want to sit on the jump seat for a minute? All right, y'all have control. Where's the jump seat on this thing? Yeah, it's right back here. Look at the textures on this thing. I can smell this headrest. Absolutely love it. All right, you have control. I am going to use the lav, get a bourbon, and then we're going to watch UPS 6 on Green Dot Aviation, courtesy of Green Dot Aviation. Partner with the channel here. And, be good. Hold on. Alright, I will be right back. Give me about 3 to 5 minutes. You have control. Don't touch anything. We're back. Everything good? Yep, 410. Alright. Let's do this, chat. Let's turn this down. Alright, here we go. I'm going to turn this down about 1. And, oh, look at that view. This is where we're going to do our in-flight entertainment. We weren't supposed to contact anybody, right? Fort Worth Center is online, but we're not there. Tonight's bourbon is a Woodford Reserve Double Oaked. So, stepping up in the world, man. All right. That's coming. Oh, our TV's on. I'm going to move you to like right there. Perfect, perfect. And boom. Volume's up. All right, so as always, chat, this is I love doing this. We get to watch Green Dot Aviation, who makes videos using flight simulation to recreate accidents and incidents that have happened. He does a lot of good investigative work on getting to the bottom of a lot of details and factors that happen. I spoke with him, and he said that we are more than welcome to rewatch his videos on the channel live. All we got to do is make sure that you head over to his channel, hit subscribe if you haven't already, because it's really good stuff. Leave a comment too, because content creators, I mean, this is how they make money. That's how everybody makes money by content, right? So when someone allows someone else to share their work, help their algorithm out by leaving a comment, leaving a like, and you should definitely subscribe to Green Dot. I'm subscribed to him. He's kind of like another mentor pilot, you know, where he goes over accident investigation stuff. So this is an older video. This is UPS 6. Again, my background with this is I was flying with the captain of the friend of this guy, which was just pretty wild. So he told me some things that I don't know. We'll see if are mentioned here in this video, but nevertheless, let's go. Spurious says his video where he interviewed the Speedbird. Yes, the volcanic ash incident. Spurious Pod. Yeah, we'll have to go through that one at one point too. Absolutely. All right, firing it up. My iPad is dead. Anyone got a charger? Nope. Water. No charger for you. We'll check volume levels.
Minutes after takeoff from Dubai, the pilots of a UPS Boeing 747 are face to face with their worst nightmare. Behind them, a cargo pallet containing over 81,000 lithium batteries has caught fire. Smoke rapidly fills the cockpit, and the pilots are desperately trying to race back to the airport. With every passing second, the fire is spreading and intensifying. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse, the captain's oxygen supply fails. Will they be able to make it back to the airport before their massive plane is consumed by flames? This is the story of UPS Flight 6. On the evening...
All right, so before we get in to this here, why are we rolling? We're rolling. All right, we're coming back. We're just nabbing. Couple things about cargo. I'm sure he'll get into this, but one of the largest hazards in air freight are batteries, believe it or not. So many things like oxygen canisters and batteries are always a high-risk item, and that actually came about after this accident. They did a little bit more investigation with what caused this fire and how it ended up getting started and all that. But out of the gate, this is you're carrying some pretty hazardous stuff on this flight on UPS 6. Now, I was going to make the screen a little bit bigger here. I know it's cut off just a tad, but yeah, this is going to get deep, chat.
Of September 3rd, 2010. 2 pilots boarded UPS Flight 6 at Dubai International Airport. The massive aircraft, a Boeing 747-400, had arrived in Dubai from Hong Kong that afternoon, carrying a large consignment of cargo, including a few tons of lithium batteries. Some of this cargo had been unloaded at Dubai, while more cargo was loaded onto the aircraft. The plane's next stop was in Cologne, Germany, a 7-hour flight. The pilots who would take the plane on this journey were two Americans, 48-year-old Doug Lamp and 38-year-old Matthew Bell. Captain Lamp was an experienced pilot, having amassed over 11,000 hours of experience, 4,000 of which were on the 747. He had worked for UPS since 1995 and had a spotless safety and performance record throughout his flying career. First Officer Bell was also reasonably well experienced, with over 5,000 hours flying time, about 1,500 of which were on the 747. He had been with UPS since 2006, and, like the captain, had a spotless record in all of this time.
So you got two seasoned flight crew members, both been on the 747. So it's always a good thing to like when you break down flight times. Oh, how much hours do you have? How many hours do you have? You could have 8,000 hours and only 100 hours on type, or 500 hours on type. Both these guys have over 1,000 hours on type of the 747. That's what that means. When you say on type, it means on what type rating of that equipment. So over 1,000 hours on type. I mean, obviously, well experienced. No records of any issues in their past on safety and everything. So you have a team crew right out of the gate here.
The pilots had been in Dubai for the last 24 hours, having just flown themselves in from Hong Kong the previous day. When they reached Cologne, they would spend 55 hours there before flying back to the United States. So far, this was shaping up to be a completely routine trip for the crew of two. At 20 minutes to 8...
Hold on, I'm going to, I want to adjust this screen size here real quick. Y'all, give me a second. I see it's cut off just a tad. This one here. I was just trying to fix the TV size. Oh well, that's good enough. We'll let it be. Alright, continuing on.
Local time, Flight 6 pushed back from its stand at Dubai. On board were 87 tons of fuel and 103 tons of cargo. The weather on this night was perfect for flying. The sky was clear and the winds were light. The first officer would be flying the aircraft to Cologne, with the captain acting as pilot monitoring. The aircraft itself was 3 years old and was actually one of the last 747-400s ever made, before Boeing started production of its successor, the 747-800. The plane was in perfect flying condition, apart from one thing. The previous crew, who had flown the aircraft in from Hong Kong that afternoon, had reported a fault with Pack 1. Pack, in this context, stands not for package, but for Pressurization Air Conditioning Kit.
I believe it's actually pneumatic air cycle kit. I could be wrong. Maybe on the 7.4 it's different, but those are your units for air conditioning, which they use a cycle machine to condense the air and all that and give you conditioned air. Flying with a pack-in op, not a big deal. We do it all the time, even on the Airbus. I wonder, how many packs does the 7.4 have? It has more than two? Let's see.
This is a system which takes air from the engines, cools it, and feeds it into the cabin of the aircraft to keep it pressurized. On the 747, there are 3 packs, helpfully labeled Pack 1, Pack 2, and Pack 3.
So you got one for the cockpit, cargo hold, and I wonder if on a, it's probably the same even on a passenger variant. So you got 3 packs. You just want to make sure Pack 1 is working, because that's where you're going to be. If you don't have Pack 1, you're going to be up there sweating most likely. And it doesn't necessarily work with pressurization. Like you mentioned, just kind of a slight error there, unless there's something different on the 7.4. So you would actually have pressurization controllers, which control pressurization of the aircraft through the outflow valve. The pneumatic air cycle kit is mostly, again, I don't know all the 7.4 systems on this, but it's mostly pneumatics for air conditioning, temperature control, and so forth.
It is perfectly safe to fly with one faulty pack. And besides,
actually, I'll correct myself. It can work. It does actually affect pressurization, because depending on the airplane you're on, the airframe you're on, if you're single pack, you actually you might have a cruise altitude limitation for pressurization. So never mind what I said. Continue on.
Pack 1 appeared to be working. But there is one type of emergency for which a functioning Pack 1 is an absolute necessity. We'll get to what that is in a moment. At 10 minutes to 8 that evening, First Officer Bell lined the 747 up with runway 30 right at Dubai and pushed the 4 powerful engines to take off thrust. Within moments, the aircraft lifted off into the Arabian night. In about 7 hours, it will be touching down in Germany.
7-hour flight through the night, baby.
As it was a calm evening at Dubai, the first officer flew the aircraft manually on departure. As a pilot flying 747s on long-haul routes, the vast majority of your time is spent on autopilot, so it's good practice to fly by hand when the workload is light. It wouldn't be long, however, before the first officer's workload was like nothing he had ever experienced in his career.
And this also shows confidence in this pilot's ability, or in his confidence on this airplane. Like, I know guys, when they first get on the line, they want to get that autopilot on quickly. But if you want to hand fly all the way up to cruise altitude or whatever your limitation is in your SOP, or you can't go to RVSM without the autopilot on, but it shows confidence, and it's because like, hey, I need to continue to brush up. I've talked about this numerous times on this channel. My last landing I did yesterday, all automation off because of right here. You got to keep, if you don't use it, flying skills are perishable, and if you get dispatched somewhere with an in-op auto thrust or something that's going to require you to hand fly, and you haven't hand flown for the last 3 months, you're just relying on the autopilot, then you're going to be rough. So good on him for doing hand flying here. Obviously workload is low, and it's probably enjoying it. I mean, 7-hour flight, calm night, everything seems to be working a-okay.
And all that started about 10 minutes after takeoff at 8 o'clock, when the pilots received a warning message on their cockpit's central display. It read, Pack 1 fault. This was the same issue the previous crew had noted on their way in from Hong Kong. The first officer turned on the autopilot as the flight climbed through 11,500 feet, and the captain went through the procedure to reset the faulty pack. Once he had done this, the error message disappeared, and everything went back to normal. The flight continued climbing up to its cruising altitude of 32,000 feet.
Reset jet.
This minor inconvenience would soon be forgotten by the pilots, but it would come back to haunt them in a completely unexpected way. At 10 minutes past 8 that evening, the pilots transferred from Dubai Air Traffic Control to Bahrain Air Traffic Control. This was shaping up to be a routine flight, and the pilots chatted amongst themselves as the plane climbed up to its cruising altitude. But at 13 minutes past 8, all signs of normalcy vanished in the cockpit when the fire bell sounded. This is one of the most urgent and terrifying alarms you can hear on any flight deck.
Absolutely.
The two pilots jumped into action. Their central display, known as the ECAS, notified them that there was a fire on the forward section of the main deck. They had to get to an airport immediately.
So you got to also think about there's startle factor here that's in play. I mean, I've had a fire bell go off. Thank goodness it was false. Let's see, 1, 2 times or 3 times now that I remember. So I had one, had a lav smoke go off. I've had 2 lav smokes, which are pretty, I don't want to say common, but that's when someone vapes in the bathroom, most likely. Particle sensor goes off, you get a lav smoke warning. I did have a cargo deck, or not cargo, cargo bay fire alarm on the ground. It was due to what was going on with the ramper. Won't get into that here. Even on the ground, anytime that master warning goes off, it is an immediate like adrenaline dump, and you go back to your lowest level of training, right? So your immediate action items, your memory items, whatever it may be. So, and this is the real deal. I mean, you're flying freight. The pack thing is out of your memory. You've dumped it because it's really not a big deal at this point. They've probably flown with packs out numerous times, and now all focus is on the fire bell.
The accident history of onboard fires is very clear. Once there is a fire warning, pilots typically have about 17 minutes to get the aircraft down, before the fire does that for them. Captain Lamp took over control of the aircraft from the first officer. He notified Bahrain Air Traffic Control that they had an onboard fire, and that they needed to land as soon as possible. The controller told the captain that Doha's airport was just ahead of them to the left, about 100 miles away. This was a lot closer than Dubai, which was now 180 miles behind the plane. But the captain had already decided that he wanted to return to Dubai. The controller told the captain that Doha's airport was just ahead of them to the left, about 100 miles away. This was a lot closer than Dubai, which was now 180 miles behind.
Okay, so I'm not going to get this crew, unfortunately, spoiler alert, they all perished, right? So I'm not going to trample on anybody's grave here. But I just want to show you the importance of, because we've talked about it on the channel before, equitime points. Even when it's not really necessary, you're not ETOPS, you're just going over long stretches of water or long stretches of land with no airports. I've showed you guys multiple times how to use the equitime point in the Airbus, even on flights like we're doing right now. We're going over the Gulf of Mexico. If I knew how to do it on the 747, I'd be setting up ETP modification. But immediately when something happens like this, because when the fire bell goes off, it's too late. I mean, you've got the adrenaline, you're startled, and you're immediately going into the remedy of the situation. Now, if you have your equitime point on your ND in front of your face, showing you which airport is closest, you can immediately make that decision of, we're going here 100 miles or we're going 180 miles back. If you're on fire, you immediately think, well, I'm going to the closest possible airport. I'm assuming that he's going to get into the reasoning here why the crew turned around. I'm going to say my thoughts probably has to do with logistics. You're familiar with Dubai. You just took off from Dubai. It's a difference of 80 miles. While that might seem like a lot, when you think about it, airtime, it's not crazy. But when you think about it in perspective with 100 and 180, it's almost double in this particular instance. 80 miles while flying 80 is not all that much. But when you're descending back into an airport and you're almost doubling it here to go back to Dubai. So we'll see what happens, what Green Dot says about the decision to turn back around here. But I just wanted to touch on that. This is why you always want to modify those ETP points, even if, like, we're talking SimWorld, nothing's at stake here. But real pilots, real world stuff, this is why we do those things.
Behind the plane. But the captain had already decided that he
always divert to the all-inclusive. Cal, what's up, man? Good to see you, dude. Hope all is well.
He wanted to return to Dubai. He was more familiar with the airport. He knew what the weather was and what the traffic situation was there, and he had all the charts ready to go. If he tried to land at Doha, he would have to get his hands on all of that additional information, on top of dealing with an in-flight fire.
This is all very valid, and this is 2010. Paper charts are still being used. Probably doesn't even have his Doha charts out. Now, it may seem like a small thing, but if you are flying, because I've had to divert with paper charts before, and you have to pull out the big jet binder because you're going to an airport that you had no intention on ever going to. So now one pilot is sifting through paperwork, trying to find the right frequencies and charts. And then you say, well, what about ATC? Can't you just ask ATC? Well, yes, you can, but we're not just talking native language flying over the United States. Let me get charts into Charleston, West Virginia, or wherever you may be going. It's talking about Doha. I mean, the airspace and the controllers and the language barrier out here is huge. So just relying on ATC to get you the information is not really going to be an awesome idea. So the fact that he's electing to go back due to they already know the weather, they already have the procedures out, they know everything they need to know already, they can focus on fighting the fire. It's a judgment call. He made the call. So, I mean, would this had a different outcome if they went to Doha? Nobody knows. It doesn't matter. These crew are gone, and we have the facts in front of us, and we're just we can assess and learn from this situation, but who knows? There's no guarantee they would have made it if they went straight to Doha anyway. But it's a very interesting decision to make the turn back around, which in the heat of the moment, honestly, knowing that it'd be a pain to get all those charts out while fighting a fire, can't say that I disagree with him. It's just his call. I mean, he's the guy that's been flying out here his career. I'm not. So there's other stuff that he's aware of that we're not, because we haven't been in this sector.
And besides, at this point, he didn't know how serious the fire was. So he began a 180-degree turn and put the aircraft into descent. Both pilots donned their oxygen masks, and the first officer began working through the fire main deck checklist. This here is a copy of the exact checklist he was using. It contained a number of important steps which would give the crew a fighting chance at controlling or even extinguishing the fire. Primarily, this involved turning off Pack 2 and Pack 3 and opening a pressure release valve in the rear of the aircraft's fuselage. This depressurized the cargo area of the aircraft. In other words, the air was now being sucked out of the cargo area in a controlled decompression. This was a vital step in fighting the fire, because it deprived it of oxygen. At the high altitude the plane was at, the air only has about a third as much oxygen as it has on the ground. For that reason, the checklist also instructs the crew to maintain an altitude of 25,000 feet for as long as possible on the way back to the airport. In fact, this step is so important that even if the fire begins while the plane is below 25,000 feet, the checklist tells the pilots to climb to 25,000 feet.
Interesting. I want to read this checklist here while he popped it up. This is the exact one that they're following. Smoke is detected in the main cargo areas. Don the oxygen mask. Establish crew communications. That's always, most airlines I've worked for, that's always been a memory item. One of the few is like oxygen mask on, crew communication established, because you got to first save yourself. And then what's the next most important thing? Got to get the communication up. And communicating through the oxygen mask can be difficult. And it's loud and it's airy. That's going off. And when you're sucking for air, it's uncomfortable. I've used this in real life. I've used the oxygen mask in real life. And it is a pain to do communications. So these are important steps. Super oxygen switch on. I guess that's just for the mask. Main deck cargo fire arm switch confirmed. Tail number specific here, so this aircraft 570 to 579 SATCOM will shut down. You've got skip the system shutdowns 2 packs, and respective pack ICAS messages are shown. Select the pack control selectors that have the pack messages. Pack control selector 2 packs off. Cargo fire depressurization push and hold for 1 second. So, like Green Dot said, this procedure is basically trying to stifle the fire. What are 3 things fire needs? It needs fuel, it needs an ignition source, and it needs oxygen. Okay, if you starve it of any one of those 3 things, it'll go out. So what are you going to do? You're going to starve it of oxygen. You can try to stifle the fire here. This is kind of what this checklist is getting at. I cannot imagine I would ever want to climb with fire warnings. Well, it is an interesting. It's a great point, and I think we're going to get. I haven't watched this episode in a really long time, so I forget where this video goes. It's kind of more fun this way anyway for me to watch it along with you. But yeah, it's climb or descend 25,000 feet when conditions and terrain allow. Plan to land at nearest suitable airport. You got to remember, UPS freight, you're not just flying from Dallas to Cleveland. Okay, you are flying over some of the most incredible and non-forgiving terrain in the world. So that's why this note is in here. You know, who knows where this can pop up? And I mean, they're over the ocean right now, so there's not much terrain to worry about. But you gotta look at big picture here.
As the 747 didn't have any onboard fire suppression system, using the plane's altitude to fight the fire was the only method available to the crew. But the crew were as yet unaware of the extent of the fire. In fact, the whole thing was still rather abstract to them. The plane was flying normally, and they couldn't hear, see, or smell anything odd. In many ways, this was just like the many times they had practiced this scenario in the simulator. Despite the urgency of their situation, the pilots remained cold and clinical in their response to the fire indications. But this period of calm would be brief. The pilots don't know it yet, but just behind them, on the main cargo deck, a massive fire has taken hold. Unfortunately for the pilots, this fire had actually started minutes earlier, during the plane's climb. The 747 is not equipped with thermal imaging equipment. Instead, it just relies on smoke detectors to determine whether there is a fire on board. And by the time there was enough smoke to trigger the detectors, the fire had already reached an uncontrollable size. One of the lithium batteries in one of the pallets had self-ignited, and the fire had spread to the nearby batteries, setting off a chain reaction.
Golly.
A lithium battery fire is unlike any other kind of fire. When lithium-ion batteries burn, they make their own oxygen.
Yep.
Not even the thin atmosphere at 25,000 feet could keep this fire from raging.
So I was just saying they're trying to stifle it, right? The 3 things fire needs: Not in the case of lithium ion. And I believe it was after this accident that's when they discover that, or that's when it became more. I mean, probably already knew, but like it really became an issue when traveling with lithium ion batteries. Because who said that? Matthew Kelly. Yeah, you are 100% correct. They will change their own. They change basically their self-sustaining fire. So oxygen is not going to stifle them out here. They self-ignited. There's more of them to burn, so they've got the fuel, and they don't care about the oxygen. So now you've got a raging inferno in your aircraft, and there's really nothing that this crew can do at this point. Absolutely horrific.
In fact, not even water or fire-retardant foam would have been able to stop them. Lithium battery fires are so dangerous, in fact, that even carbon dioxide fire extinguishers actually make them worse, because the batteries manage to split the carbon dioxide, CO2, into C and O2. That's O2, oxygen. In other words, lithium-ion battery fires can actually turn fire extinguishers into fuel.
Flamethrowers. Jeez.
So, as the pilots turned their aircraft back to Dubai and actioned their checklists, they were in a desperate fight against the clock. They had to make it back to Dubai before the raging inferno beneath them rendered their aircraft uncontrollable. During the turn back to Dubai, the captain tested the controllability of the aircraft by disconnecting the autopilot and flying manually.
Smart move.
Then
this is huge. This is a huge bonus here. Like this is situational awareness, experience, and just awesome piloting coming into play here. The captain is dealing with a raging inferno over a non-native English-speaking part of the world at night, alone, with just his first officer, and he has the wherewithal to continue to fly. He's staying engaged in the aircraft, and he's like, hey, we need to make sure. He's checking the flight control. Is it burning through the cables? Are we going to have control issues here? The forethought on this thinking is fantastic. I mean, to have that kind of additional situational awareness while this is going on, one of the worst things that you can have happen, a fire on board an aircraft, huge props. Huge props to the captain here. And matter of fact, there was that, was it Dojet? Or no, there was a prop that crashed in California a couple weeks ago, icing, because he had the autopilot on. If he had to turn the autopilot off, probably would have noticed the change in the flight control characteristics and might have been able to save the aircraft and his life. That was an accident just recently. I think Blanco Lirio already did a video on it. But this is huge here. Huge.
Reconnecting the autopilot and then disconnecting it again. The flight controls appeared to be working normally, so he continued hand-flying the plane as the first officer worked through the checklists. But now, as if the pilots didn't have enough on their hands, the faulty Pack 1 blinked out again. And amid the flurry of warnings in the cockpit, the pilots didn't see that it had stopped working. This problem, while nothing more than an inconvenience when everything was going well, was now about to wreak havoc in the cockpit. The fire checklist says the Pack 1 must remain on because it keeps the air pressure higher in the cockpit than in the rest of the plane.
Keeps the smoke
This
out.
pressure difference prevents smoke from travelling from the cargo bay into the cockpit. But with Pack 1 now off, there was nothing to stop the smoke from making its way up to the cockpit. Except there was one thing, actually. One last line of defence. Lining the main deck was a heavy-duty fire-resistant material. It acted like a thick padded blanket, keeping the rest of the aircraft safe from the soaring temperatures in the main deck. So far, it was holding up against the raging inferno. Whether it would stay that way was an open question. At this point,
I mean, that gives me chills just thinking about that whole situation. So, I mean, I'm not even sure, and unless you heard the tapes or listened to the whole recording of this, which I don't even think this was part of the. I don't even know if they had the CVR on this, right? Didn't they? I can't remember if it went back that far, but or I think it cut off relatively soon, something like that. We'll probably get to it here, but in the middle of that emergency, you're not really thinking about the Pack 1 situation, especially if it already happened once. If that Pack 1 didn't trip off after takeoff, I personally think this might have, well, I don't know if the end result would have changed, but I think there might have been more awareness to the pack, because if Pack 1 had failed for the first time during the procedure, I think it would have caused more attention to be focused on it, as opposed to it went off earlier, nuisance warning, we reset it. Okay, now it's going off again. We've got way bigger things to worry about. However, that's not necessarily correct, because those are linked on the fire procedure here. So yes, chain of events, V2 plus 10. I mean, this is, you can see, right, Swiss cheese model. Everything's lining up. Everything's lining up. For an airplane to go down, it's very rarely ever just one thing. It's little by little, threats, errors, things happen. They all line up until eventually it breaks.
The captain asked air traffic control if he could descend to 10,000 feet. It's still not clear why he did this. The checklist called for him to stay at 25,000 feet in order to starve the fire of oxygen. But it's possible that he was concerned not about whether the fire had oxygen, but about whether he would continue to get it from his mask.
Okay.
He knew that at 10,000 feet, he wouldn't need an oxygen mask, as the air would be breathable.
Very likely scenario as well. Maybe they did see the pack 1 and up. They know the other 2 packs are out. Instead of dealing with, or you're running with oxygen masks, like, you're going to need to get to a lower altitude, right? That's part of your emergency procedures, probably some sort of memory item. Depressurization, you got to descend down to the lowest, or MEA, so you can breathe. So 10,000 feet or the MEA, in my opinion, that's probably why he's requesting that. So it's not that they ignored the pack 1, they just said, okay, we're going to need oxygen ourselves, let's go ahead and descend.
The controller cleared Flight 6 down to 10,000 feet, and the captain continued his descent. At this point, the aircraft was still 100 nautical miles from the airport,
So now they're the
or about
distance they were
180
from
kilometers. Then, mere minutes after the fire
So
bell
they've
sounded,
traveled, you think about it, Doha was 100 miles when the fire started. They've now traveled 80 miles, and they're 100 miles out still from Dubai. So, you think about fire on board, you got to land the closest possible airport. It's just something to think about.
the pilots received the first terrifying sign of the true extent of the fire. Thick black smoke began pouring into the cockpit. This emergency was no longer an abstract ordeal made of warning bells and lights. The fire-resistant lining which padded the walls and ceiling on the main deck had been breached. Dark,
Gives me
noxious
chills.
fumes began to envelop the pilots as they raced at full speed back to Dubai. But then, just when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse, the unthinkable happened. The captain noticed that his control column had become completely ineffective at controlling the pitch of the aircraft. When he pulled up or pushed down, nothing happened. It was as if he was playing with a toy steering wheel, completely disconnected from the aircraft he was flying.
Uh-oh.
This was an absolutely gut-wrenching moment for the captain. Without the ability to control the pitch of his aircraft, he knew that his chances of survival had plummeted. And on top of this, he also knew that there was only one thing which could have caused this loss of pitch control. And it was a terrifying prospect. It meant that the fire was now burning so hot that it had weakened the cables and pulleys which ran from his control column in the cockpit, underneath the upper deck, and back along the length of the aircraft to the tail. These cables require a certain tension to work properly, and the incredible heat of the fire had now weakened them and thrown the tension completely off. This would have been a death sentence for the crew, were it not for one important caveat. The captain was now flying manually, but on the 747, the autopilot controls the pitch of the aircraft not by pulling these cables from where the captain was sitting, but directly from the tail of the aircraft.
From the actuators.
So while the captain was unable to control the pitch of the aircraft, the autopilot, at least for the moment, was able to. But in the middle of the emergency, the captain didn't know this. He said to the first officer, "I have no control of the aircraft." "Okay, what?" "I have no pitch control of the aircraft." "You don't have any control at all." At this point, the pilots were only 4 minutes into the emergency. The sheer speed of the fire's escalation was horrifying.
4 minutes. And this they've got smoke in the cockpit. They've lost control of the elevators manually. I mean, That is insane. I mean, I cannot even begin to put.
They were still well over 100 kilometers from the airport, and the fire had already crippled their flight controls. The captain was flying the aircraft as fast as it could go without exceeding its structural limits. Both pilots knew that they had mere minutes to get the aircraft back onto the ground. In cargo aircraft, there's no real need for a cockpit door, so this 747 didn't have one. This meant that as soon as the fire had breached the protective lining on the main deck, smoke had been spewing freely into the cockpit. This made for horrific conditions for the pilots. With every passing minute, it became increasingly difficult for them to see their instruments. And the smoke did more than just obscure their view. It was highly toxic.
Yeah, I was going to say.
If the pilots hadn't put their oxygen masks on, they would be dead within minutes. But terrifyingly, their oxygen supply itself was now under threat from the fire.
Yeah, this is not your daddy's campfire. This is a lithium-ion fire burning through the flame retardant blanket, which in of itself, I think, when that burns, that's extremely toxic. So, the acrid smells that must have been going through there is just. Cannot be stated enough how horrific this scene was. So I don't know what type of oxygen mask they have on the 744. The oxygen masks that we use, I'm sure they're very similar to the quick donning masks. They have purging capabilities. So when you have the mask on, it seals on your face. And when you seal on your face, you can, if you put it into emergency mode, it will actually push oxygen from the hose through your goggles and purge your mask out, so you can keep your mask from getting smoke in it or anything like that. But that's not going to help you if the smoke is outside of the mask in the cockpit. Now you're limited on visibility inside your own cockpit, and your oxygen levels are getting low. So. What's freezing up? The stream's cutting out. It should be back. Oh, I think there was a minor dip there. Everything should be back fine now. If it hasn't, just refresh. Oh, I see. Wait, what's going on? Hopefully it stays fine. I don't know why. Try doing a refresh if it's giving you issues. We'll continue on here.
Beneath the cockpit, the lines leading from the captain's oxygen cylinder to his mask were being torched by the ever-intensifying fire. If they became compromised, the captain's oxygen supply would give out, and he would have to quickly make his way to one of the supplemental oxygen masks in the rear of the cockpit and fix the mask to his face in time. It was absolutely vital that the crew managed to get back to Dubai immediately. As smoke filled the cockpit, the pilots began to have trouble seeing their instruments. The smoke was so thick that it didn't just get in the way of the instrumentation, but it also obscured the cockpit lighting, turning the cockpit into a dark, murky box. There was no way the pilots would be able to make it back to Dubai like this. The captain called for the first officer to open the smoke shutter. The smoke shutter is a small hole in the cockpit roof. By opening it, the captain was hoping that he would be able to clear up the environment in the cockpit. And while this worked temporarily, it then had the totally unintended effect of drawing more smoke into the cockpit.
Jeez.
The pilots couldn't win. It seemed as if everything they tried only made the problem worse. But that didn't stop them from preparing the flight computers for a landing back at Dubai. The first officer leaned forward until he could see his flight management computer through the thick smoke. The pilots knew that there was no way they would be able to see well enough out the window to land the aircraft visually. But the 747 has an excellent autopilot and auto-land system. If they could put the aircraft on course for Dubai, they could set the autopilot up to land the aircraft back on the same runway they took off from, runway 12 left. To do this, they would need to tune their navigation radios to the ILS frequency of the runway. The ILS, or Instrument Landing System, would give the autopilot lateral and vertical guidance down to the runway surface. And at 19 minutes past 8 that night, they managed to do just that. The ILS was now tuned, and the aircraft was on course to intercept the extended runway centerline for runway 12 left at Dubai.
Unbelievable wherewithal, just thinking, like not giving up, right? One of the hazardous attitudes is, was it resignation, where you just say, oh, there's nothing else we can do, and you give up. That's a hazardous attitude for a reason. I mean, these guys, despite everything that they're going through, they are still trying to do everything they possibly can to get this airplane back on the ground. Setting it up for an auto land, 1-2 left, back in Dubai. Karen said it right, a Tier 1 crew, absolutely. This is a Tier 1 crew in one of the most horrific situations that has happened in aviation. This cockpit is up there with probably this whole scenario. I can maybe think of the Swiss MD-11. That would have been kind of, I mean, not kind of, definitely, obviously very scary. But this one, because it's just prolonged horror, unbelievable.
Now all the pilots had to do was keep the aircraft flying fast enough so that it would reach the runway before burning up entirely. But things were about to take an horrific turn for the worse. Less than a minute after tuning the ILS frequency for runway 12 left, the captain's oxygen supply suddenly failed.
JJ, you wouldn't be able to open them up because the pressure is pressurized still. So maybe you get down, but they're also probably going max speed, right? 330. I don't know how fast they're going, but it may not even be able to open. I don't know how the 744 windows work. Not a terrible idea, but I don't know if it's viable or not.
He needed to get his hands on another mask.
Ed, this happened
fast.
in 2010.
The conditions in the cockpit were hellish. Alarms blared, the air was hot and smelled of burning plastic and sulfur, and it was impossible to see further than a few inches in front of your face. There was a tremendous noise from the sound of air rushing past the fuselage, and the pilots were acutely aware that behind them, the blazing inferno causing all of this was drawing closer by the minute. The captain told the first officer that he had no oxygen and that he couldn't breathe. But there was nothing the first officer could do to help him. He was on his own. Behind the pilots, at the jump seat position, there was a supplemental oxygen mask. The captain got up from his seat and told the first officer to fly the aircraft. He began making his way to the back of the cockpit, desperately wading through the toxic smoke in search of the portable oxygen bottle stored there.
With no mask on.
From this moment onwards, there would be nothing heard from the captain.
Probably died before he got to the mask. The mask was right behind the seat. I mean, he wasn't getting oxygen through his mask, so he's probably hacking and coughing, and then he pulls his mask off, and now his eyes are probably burning, and it probably just succumbed to the smoke right there. I mean, that's what kills you in a fire anyway, is the smoke most of the time, not the flames themselves. So that just shows you how nasty this stuff is. Took his mask off and probably died before getting to the other mask.
Within seconds, he was overcome by the toxic smoke and fumes. The first officer was now completely on his own. Out over the Persian Gulf, 100 miles from the nearest land, he now had mere minutes to wrestle his flaming jet back to Dubai. But as the first officer sped towards Dubai, a new problem emerged. This had to do not with the fire, but with the plane's location. All this time, the plane's radios had been tuned to Bahrain air traffic control. But radio waves work by line of sight, and as UPS-6 flew away from Bahrain and descended, it actually went below the horizon from the point of view of Bahrain. So now, when the first officer tried to contact air traffic control, he heard nothing in response. The smoke in the cockpit was now so dense that the first officer couldn't see the figures on the radio panel beside him. If he had been able to see them, he could have tuned in to Dubai's frequency, which was in range. From there, he would have been able to coordinate his arrival back to the airport with Dubai air traffic control. But this wasn't an option. The smoke was simply too thick for him to make out what frequency he was tuned to. The first officer was now flying blind.
Now you are alone by yourself. Captain's dead on the floor behind you, and you can't talk to anybody. And you're burning up alive in an aluminum tube.
So, he had to make do with the only option available to him. He would have to ask another aircraft in the area to relay his messages to air traffic control
And he's still
and
not
to
giving
relay
up.
air traffic control's responses back to him. He wanted air traffic control to give him directions back to the airport and to keep him updated on his altitude and speed. Here's how it worked. The first officer radioed a nearby aircraft, Fly Dubai Flight 751, asking for directions to Dubai. Flight 751 radioed this request to Bahrain Air Traffic Control. But Bahrain didn't have Flight 6 on radar, so they had to contact Dubai over the phone to get this information from them. Dubai told Bahrain the heading and distance of Flight 6 from the airport, and Bahrain radioed this on to the relay aircraft, who radioed it back to the first officer on Flight 6. This was an incredibly time-consuming and error-prone process. It was like a twisted game of Chinese whispers, where the life of the first officer depended on fast and accurate information from everybody involved. The first officer was under tremendous stress. He was already in a life-and-death battle to get the plane back to Dubai. His captain was unconscious, probably dead. The cockpit was full of toxic smoke. He couldn't see out the window or see his own instruments. And now he couldn't even talk directly to air traffic control to guide him back in. His level of stress was now through the roof. Where was he? Was he heading in the right direction? How would he know when it was time to slow the aircraft down and descend towards the runway? The minutes ticked by as the fire blazed on, growing more intense by the minute. Flight 6 was now 30 miles from Dubai. As the first officer radioed air traffic control via the relay aircraft, there was massive confusion as messages bounced between controllers and other pilots. Dubai controllers had no idea how urgent the situation was. All they knew was that Flight 6 had a smoke problem and was trying to return to the airport.
And you're dealing with a language barrier here. Like AJ said, there's a language barrier and the communications are horrific. That's why I said this is not your over the US where you can sneeze on an airport below you. This is what a Middle East, Persian Gulf flying, like different ball game.
The first officer was still flying at breakneck speed. For all this time, he had been waiting for some sign of the airport. Some sign that he wasn't still miles out over the Persian Gulf. And finally, at 8:36 that night, the aircraft's onboard systems detected the glide slope for runway 12 left at Dubai. Flight 6 was now close enough to the runway to pick up this vital signal. If the first officer could coax the stricken aircraft into following this beam, he could be in with a fighting chance. He selected an altitude of 4,000 feet on the autopilot and put the aircraft into a descent.
Still flying.
Thankfully, the aircraft appeared to be controllable via the autopilot. For the first time since the fire began, things were starting to look up. But the situation was still desperate. Somehow, the first officer would have to slow the overweight aircraft down to landing speed, all while descending rapidly and staying on course for the runway. At the moment, he was way too high. Air traffic control advised him that he was 9 miles from the runway and was descending through an altitude of 7,000 feet.
3-to-1
Typically,
little chat.
at this distance, planes would be at about 3,000 feet. In other words, the first officer was more than twice as high as he needed to be. The relay aircraft asked if Flight 6 could do a 360-degree turn to lose altitude and airspeed. But the first officer knew that he didn't have time. This was his only shot. It was all or nothing. In a desperate attempt to reduce his airspeed, the first officer extended the aircraft's speed brakes, which popped up from the top surface of the wings. However, due to mechanical damage to the cables from the fire, the spoilers didn't extend as much as they should have. The plane continued in at high speed. The first officer also attempted to lower the landing gear, both in an attempt to set the plane up for landing and to help slow it down. The first officer lowered the flaps as well, first to 20 degrees, then to 30. At the speed he was travelling at, he didn't need the flaps for lift, which is their usual purpose. He needed them to help slow the aircraft down. The first officer was throwing everything he had at this new problem of airspeed, but the aircraft was only partially cooperating. it would not allow the flaps to extend beyond 20 degrees, as doing so would damage them. He put an altitude of 1500 feet on the autopilot and continued descending. Next, the gear disagree warning alarm sounded. This told the first officer that the landing gear were not extended, despite him having lowered the lever. This is the last thing he wanted to hear this close to landing. Except, he still didn't know how close to landing he actually was. He wasn't able to see out the windscreen because of the smoke. Was he still lined up with the runway? Was he still too high? He asked air traffic control, and found out the horrifying truth. He was, at that moment, flying over the runway at 4,000 feet. Dubai was now off the cards for landing.
Cannot imagine when he found that out. And he's this whole time he's probably thinking he's approaching. And then they tell him, you're over the runway right now. That just had to be, I don't know. It's just unbelievable. At what point do you think he would have ditched in the water instead? I mean, he probably doesn't even know he's below. I mean, I'm sure he knows he's below water. But I mean, they can't see outside. Like, if you can't see outside, you don't have control of the aircraft manually. How are you going to ditch it? I mean, you're going to autopilot into the water? I'd probably take my chances with the ILS. You know, at least you know it can follow the glide slope down and go into some sort of flare mode. But yeah, you can't just disengage the autopilot and ditch, because it doesn't work when you're hand flying. So Captain already found that out before he passed. So now he's over the runway, probably doing, I don't know, 300 plus knots, and can't get the gear down, can't slow down.
Bahrain Air Traffic Control, through the relay aircraft, suggested Sharjah, 10 miles to the left of the plane. The controller instructed him to turn left onto a heading of 095 degrees, roughly east. This really was the first officer's last chance. 10 miles was enough distance for him to descend. The only question was whether he'd be able to touch down the runway before fire consumed the aircraft's flight control cables completely. But in the dense smoke and fumes, the first officer made a mistake. Rather than turning his heading selector to 095 degrees, he turned it to 195 degrees. The plane began a sharp turn to the right, away from Sharjah.
Nail in the coffin, right? Now, whether he was a mistake or not, I would imagine he's such a tier 1 pilot at this point, like, he probably didn't even see the digit 1. Like, I mean, you're battling, he can't see his hands in front of his face. You know, I'm surprised he's seeing any digits to begin with. So, probably read back 095, saw 095, but there was a 1 there. And you can't see outside, so you don't really know situational awareness-wise what the airplane's doing. You can see on your PFD if you can see it. But
as the plane banked hard to the right, the bank angle alarm sounded.
Bank angle.
The first officer desperately asked the relay aircraft to get the controller to tell him his altitude and heading. He had no idea where his plane was taking him. As the plane rolled out on its new heading, it began slowing down and descending. The first officer disconnected the autopilot, and without it to hold the nose up, the aircraft entered a dive. The nose pitched down to 14 degrees below the horizon. The first officer pulled fully back in his control column, but it had been rendered almost completely ineffective by the fire. The plane was now heading directly towards a residential area called Silicon Oasis, which was home to many pilots and cabin crew from Emirates Airlines. If the first officer was unable to pull the plane out of its dive, the death toll on the ground could be enormous. Finally, at just 1,000 feet above the ground, the first officer managed to pull the aircraft out of its terrifying descent. But only just. The aircraft limped upwards by about 500 feet, but as it climbed, its airspeed began to drop. And as the airspeed dropped, the elevator in the plane's tail became less effective at keeping the nose up. So, after just a few seconds, the plane entered what would be its final descent. This time, there was nothing the first officer could do. he was simply too close to the ground to recover. He did everything he could, pulling the control column fully back for the entirety of the plane's descent, in a desperate last-ditch effort to pull the plane up. But it was no good. At 41 minutes past 8, UPS Flight 6 smashed into the ground, igniting an enormous fireball which spread outwards from the disintegrating aircraft. Neither pilot survived. Incredibly, the plane had narrowly missed the residential area, sparing those on the ground. During the investigation which followed the crash, 3 pilots recreated the flight in a full-motion flight simulator. One of them described the task faced by the first officer of Flight 6 as mind-boggling. There was so much for him to do alone in the cockpit that it was incredible he even managed to get as far as he did. In the best of times, flying a plane is a 2-person job. In a critical and rapidly deteriorating emergency like that faced by UPS 6, having only 1 pilot in control was an utterly impossible situation. And then
You gotta remember, so this 2010 UPS FedEx in the U.S. were 2 of the top tier airlines to get hired by. Their requirements, from the application process to the minimum requirements required. If you had minimum requirements, you weren't even going to get coughed on as far as being looked at. I mean, you had to meet and exceed all of the requirements, which were the highest in the industry at the time. So these guys are cream of the crop pilots, and still the fact that, I mean, you can see it in this incident. You can absolutely see why. And the fact that he got as far as he did just blows my mind.
And what about the captain's decision to turn back to Dubai? Would it not have been better for him to continue to Doha, which was nearly half the distance away? Investigators tested this, but in the end, they were unable to tell whether diverting to Doha would have made any difference. The captain's oxygen failed long before the plane would have reached the airport, and the elevator control cables were also damaged significantly by that point. By all appearances, Flight 6 was doomed from the start. To prevent similar occurrences in future,
Steven's got a good point. How high UPS standards are. These 2 guys were the first ever to die while flying for UPS. And, I mean, he still almost made it. And you think about, well, we go back to the Doha decision, why go back to Dubai. So this airplane was already probably tuned up with Dubai, or they were at least familiar with Dubai, right? They already had their charts out. So it was, I don't want to say easier, because nothing the crew did was easy in this situation, but they already had the charts available to tune frequencies, which if you think, oh, well, he should have just went to Doha, they would have survived. Who knows? They'd be fumbling around with charts in the dark, in the smoke, trying to find the right. What if they couldn't find the charts and they're over Doha and they can't see? Then they go down. So the fact that they didn't go straight to Doha and return to Dubai, it's irrelevant at this point. Calls were made, and they did their absolute freaking best and above to try to save that airplane.
the final report into this accident recommended that cargo aircraft in particular be fitted with fire suppression systems given the heightened risk of fire versus passenger aircraft. It also recommended that thermal detection be used in conjunction with smoke detectors in cargo compartments to give pilots earlier warning of fire. There were also some recommendations for cargo containers themselves. If the fire on board UPS 6 had been confined to its container for just a few minutes longer, this, coupled with an early detection and suppression system, would have given the pilots precious minutes to return to an airport. So, the final report recommended that cargo containers themselves be made more capable of withstanding heat and fire. These recommendations, and the changes which resulted, came too slow for the pilots of UPS Flight 6, but they've since been rolled out across many of the world's cargo fleets, making accidents like this much less likely. Take a look at this video here if you want to get an inside look at some of the causes behind an aircraft accident, or if you want to binge watch these episodes, you can click this playlist over here. If you'd like to vote on new episodes, or get a behind the scenes look at how we make these videos, you can check that out here on the Patreon, which I've put the link somewhere on screen. And I'm happy to announce that just this week, a little present arrived from YouTube. So thanks to everybody who's supported the channel so far, and here's to the 1 million mark.
All right, y'all, go check out Green Dot Aviation on YouTube if you haven't already. At the very least, head over to his channel, head over to that video, leave a comment, let him know that we're thankful that he has allowed us to share his content here on this channel for in-flight entertainment, so we can watch those videos, break down, use his breakdowns, and create discussion with them. So just by leaving a comment, you know, you help the algorithm with this channel and all that. So, but yeah, that's a tough one to watch. A lot of changes, you know, we talk about like the rules and a lot of things we have, whether it's SOPs, standards, rules and regulations that we have in place today are in fact in place because of loss of life. You know, the Navy says, what is it, the Navy ops, whatever, written in blood, like landing on the carrier, going like, it's all because it's learned from people who have lost their lives. This one's no different. I mean, we took a lot away from that as an accident as far as aviation as a whole is concerned, and fire control. And lithium ions were really 2010. You got to think back 2010. I mean, this is kind of not the start of lithium ion technology, but it's definitely much more in the beginnings, as you know, as opposed to what it is now. But it's a thing. I can't think about it too much because, you know, sometimes when I watch his videos, I try to like put myself in that cockpit with the crew, and the hair stands up on the back of my neck every time I do, because that had to be one of the most, if not the most, horrific experiences a pilot will ever encounter. I mean, little at a time, everything's going wrong, and to be so close at the end. Yeah, heroes all around though, both those guys. The fact that, you know, they were in it all the way till the end, so pretty incredible stuff. Hindsight always 20/20, but for what this crew was faced with, they did an amazing job. I don't think any criticism should be put on the crew regardless. Yeah, no, there was, I don't think there wasn't any. Matthew Kelly, I mean, I think initially some people were saying, well, why didn't they just go to Doha? You know, it was 100 miles. But like I said, it's at that point, at the severity of that fire and everything that had happened, you know, you just don't know. You don't know. So that's why I take a lesson from UPS 6 myself, and I don't get complacent. Every time I'm over water or long places between airports, I change that ETP, because yes, there's multiple methods of determining your distance between the nearest suitable landing airport. But if I have it up on my ND screen and I'm staring at it as I'm flying over the water, and then something happens and it blacks out, I know immediately where I was in relation to that marking on my ETP point, which way I need to point the airplane. And fire is one of those things where as soon as it goes off, you need to be putting the airplane in the airport of a direction or a landing spot now. So that's something that I've personally taken from that whole video. But oh man, that is a beautiful shot right there. I'm gonna have to probably top off the old bourbon, hit the head, and then we're gonna get ready for we got our own approach to take care of here. We've got a couple, look at that, we got traffic out in front of us there, looking good. That's a heavy one. There's some traffic over there, Asoku. We'll stay on course, we'll hit Asoku at or above 18, then we gotta start prepping. So we are 0021. We are 165 miles to TOD. About 10 minutes. It's a perfect time to move about the cabin, stretch your legs, and get ready for a decent arrival. Because we're going to have to lighten the mood, because we don't have a whole lot of easiness in front of us either. We got a very interesting RNAV X-ray approach in the terrain. We got to discuss go-around options. We got to discuss landing options, speeds, and calculations, and all that. So that will be coming up next. I'm going to take a quick intermission. Don't leave us with water. Behave yourself, water. Water says, sadly, it's true for most of the stuff I do in the Navy and how we train. People had to die for us to learn our lessons and how to prevent the accidents from happening again. Absolutely. Absolutely, water. True pioneers. You know, those are the true pioneers. I would double check the route. It should be RNAV run to 20 from Maval. I'll double check it. I'll make sure we are all set up for that. arrival. You guys like cockpit view or like external view? I guess we should see some external view here real quick. So we are TOD momentarily. I'll let y'all look at the sun. I'll give you all some tunes. Lighten up the mood just a tad here. Who we got in front of us here? We got Bucky 1. Who's Bucky 1? C700. We got something else. Another 74. Cool. All right. Let's nope. I mean, I like this song, but I'll let it play. What the hell? I'll be right back. This is the time. Last chance to use the lavatories and facilities. We're about to start down chat. I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Did I miss the sunset? Did I miss the sunset? Oh, alright. We're back. Dang, that looks good, doesn't it? Alright, we need to do a couple things here. First, I need to fix my chair. Let me fix my chair. There we go. Okay, chair is fixed. Music's off. Sounds are coming up. Everyone, I got a question on ILS approaches. Is it critical to have the right QNH setting? Yes. Does glide slope compensate, or is that relevant at all? No. Glide slope, as far like, will it follow the glide slope differently? No. But if you're cross-referencing your altitudes with your glide slope intercept, for instance, you need to have the correct baro ref. But as far as the airplane flying the signal, no, because that's an actual signal that the aircraft is receiving, right? So it doesn't have anything to do with the baro. Your altimeter will be off, or you'll when you get your minimums could be off too, right? So it does affect it, but as far as the airplane like flying it, it doesn't affect it, if that makes sense. All right, I gotta remember where these panel lights are. We're gonna dim you down, and then we're coming up top. Glare shield dome lights coming off. That's nice and juicy. All right, I can turn that outboard up a little bit more actually. All right, 410 is set. My goodness. What absolute juice out here, though. We'll pull up Navigraph. On the star, Mavel to Ahsoka. We're at Ahsoka to 18,000. The GT577 is our initial approach fix. So you can see that's our initial at 18,000 after Ahsoka at 18,000. So we should probably set 18,000 feet here in the window right now, get us going in the right direction. Then we're going to look what's in the actual box here. Oops, went way past it because I was looking at Matthew Kelly's $2 super chat. Appreciate you, man. MGGT190 at 14-2318-3007. My man. Look, I scrolled all the way back up to 44,000 feet because I was reading your super chat. Matthew Kelly, appreciate you, man. Very kind. Thank you for the emitter. My goodness, where's 18,000? All right, 18,000 is set. Let's take a look at our legs here. So we got Mavel Ahsoka at 18,000, and then we're on the approach. 577 is the initial, all the way down. Then we got a 10 DME arc. So if we look at the approach here, we already have it start RNAV X-ray 20. We're coming in off 577. I hope this thing can fly RNAVs. We're going to be Cat D. ALS out. No. Ceiling requirements, we have those. 2,400 meters. No, we're really? Is that our minimums? Refer to minimums. Straight in landing, RMP. Let's just call it 0.3. 400. Oh, vertical visibility. Okay, so 400 feet is our minimums. So 400 on the mids. So we shall set. Now, I don't think. How are we supposed to hit 18,000 there? I feel like that's a little bit close. At or above 18,000 though. Okay, that makes more sense. Got some rain up ahead as well. These guys haven't started down yet. Let's go. We're going to do baro mins or radio.
Toronto City traffic, Lufthansa Cargo 45 Quebec on the descent now out of Mavel, descending 8,000. And then Golf Tango 566 RMP Yankee runway 20.
All right, he's on the RMP Yankee. We're going to be radio mins for 400, which it seems weird to do radio mins, but I guess it's RMP. So 400 feet. Let me look at the chart again. Straight in landing with RMP 0.3. Category D. Oh, 5380, 438. Duh. I don't know what I was looking at down here. What was I looking at? I was looking at, okay, never mind. 5380 on the baro is what we want. So we're going to go baro mins. We're going to scroll you back over. Baro mins and 5380. Look at him, he's starting down. All right, 5380 on the baro is set. We've got the vertical visibility requirements. As far as landing, let's go to our knit ref. We're going to be flaps 30 and 140. Wind correction +5, so it'll be 145 on the speed. Look at that already. I think we're passing them. we're still doing 8.6. We're crushing them. Oh, look at that. I'd say hit the like button, but it looks like everybody here has already hit the like button, so I appreciate each and every single one of you. Let's make this a special landing. Oh, you can't see the juice because I have that in the way. Look at that juice right there. Look at that juice, chat. Stephen Hanner says, fun fact for all you online flyers, if you tune 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into COM 1 and 2, monitor COM 2, you can check your own mic volume. Stephen, that's a great idea. Nice idea there, Stephen. Tune ID your own voice radio. Oh my gosh, like we just cut everybody off. We even cut off Team Vodka. My life is complete. My life is complete. Guatemala traffic, United 357 Heavy. We're 67 miles from Asoku at a 41,000 feet, set up for the RNAV X-ray 20, Guatemala traffic. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. Look at this. Look at that. We're beating everybody, I hope, or we're all going to be at the same time. Max Juice. I love flying 7. We got to do 7.4 short haul. We got to do more 747 flying. And we're getting a sunset, rip. I was hoping we were landing at this time. Wait, is there someone down there too? No, it's just a road. Oh, that is beautiful. Let me get the flight recorder ready. I don't think we need G's on this one. Oh, I think we will though. I'll launch it anyway. Because this airplane works pretty well with Fly Live, so we don't have the Fly Live issues, but I'll have all the G's ready anyway. Launch it now. G's. And if I go here, I know we're going to go to this cam for a second. Get these all straightened out. If I reset the G's, you should be able to see it pop out. Yes, it will. It'll pop out. Good deal. So G's is up and ready on tiller cam. We'll hide that for now. Alright. Did we beat everybody yet before we start down? Yeah, we sure are. Look at that. Looks like we got some rain up ahead. I tell you what, let's I want to stay high as much as we can. I want to stay above that. If I look out here, you can see that looks like some low level stuff building down there. If we stay high longer, if we wait to TOD, how many miles we got between Asoku and the Hard 18 at GT 577? We got quite a distance there. 50 miles. So let's do a mental math 3 to 1. Well, not mental. Let me pull out my calculator real quick. So 41 minus 18 is 23 times 3, so 69 miles. So yeah, that would be a little bit tight. That's not a 3-degree path, though. We can go a little bit faster. 7.4. So we should probably.
Traffic is Lucky 1, descending out of 45, quite a little 450, doing the RNAV X-ray.
I tell you what. Let's go direct. Guatemala traffic, United 357 Heavy. We're going present position direct at Golf Tango 577 at 410. That way we can go ahead and just get in front of y'all. You don't have to wait for us. Alright, we're cutting them off extra here. We're going direct to GT 577. Plus we'll avoid some of that weather over there. I like that much better. We'll have terrain up when we get a little bit closer, but right now let's keep weather on. And so we said 69 miles. We should probably start initiating some descent. So I'm going to go vertical speed here. Let's vert speeder down at 8.7 for now. Let's go vertical speed, 1,000 feet per minute, get us going in the right direction. All right, speed, vertical speed, 18,000 is magenta. Everyone else is going to do the same thing, I bet. Yep, I see someone turning. Golly, that's just such juice. Oh, we're getting a sunset. I can't quite get a change the angle. There we go. There you go. That is the shot, chat. You're watching on the TV tonight, Tyson? Fantastic. Well, thank you for inviting me into your living room. Apologize to any of Tyson's family members. Have to listen to me tonight. Better use full auto brakes. We're going to have to do some auto brake action for sure. We'll set that here in just a minute. Oh, just enjoying the sunset. There she goes behind the clouds. Let's get back to work. Let's go ahead and initiate. If we go, will she go VNAV? VNAV out, and no, I want to start down. There we go. VNAV speed. I don't want to slow down the throttle. Hold 8.6. Down we go. Hold 8.6 in the descent. It's got to be that Challenger or whatever he's in. It's getting darker. Let's go ahead and dim our displays. Didn't really want to do this approach at night. Rip. What's the most disappointing flight route you had to fly? Most disappointing? Probably Dallas-Fort Worth to Dallas, or to Fort Worth Alliance. Parking airplanes during COVID. It's pretty disappointing. I don't think this is at or above. I want to make that a hard 18. Valid entry. I'm trying to make it a hard 18. It's got at or above 18 there. That's all right. Let me stay on the chart. On the chart, 577 was minimum of 18, so yeah, we can still be above 18. That's fine, I guess. Alright. Terrain is probably going to become more of a factor. We're still too high, though. Somewhere down in the Guatemalan countryside, there's probably some farmer looking up the contrails trying to cut each other off. But, Guatemalan coffee beans, probably, right? How can I change my inboard display? Oh, that, because that's outboard. I like it. All right, we're gonna flight level change now. We're gonna come straight down from idle. Let's pick up the. Oh gosh, it's still going. Oh, hold on. I gotta say goodnight. Alright. Girls are going to bed. We're coming down flight level 180. We're doing 312. That's a rookie number, so let's pick those numbers up. Make it 330 in the descent. We are coming down. For cinematic purposes, let's go ahead and turn on the logo light and wing light early. I don't know why we're doing this approach at night. Should we do it at night? It's kind of scary. For those that don't know, we're basically flying into a bowl of terrain on a short runway with a cliff. Let's get our auto brakes. 3. We're pretty light. We'll go auto brake 3. Richmond? Yeah. Going to Richmond. Richmond of North Richmond. Ever heard that song?
Quadrant traffic, Lucky One. We're going to get us 30 degrees off the path and then slow up when you guys go ahead.
Sounds like a plan. Hard to keep up with a 7-4. Bye-bye, Team Vodka. Bye-bye.
We're up the wrong plane.
Excuses. All right, as soon as we get down here to 18, we're gonna slow down. Let's get a little speed brake in here. We don't want to be screaming in here. Let's go terrain mode on. Oh wow, that's kind of weird. Look at that descent angle. Nothing like 340 knots of the speed brakes out over a steep terrain. All right, I'll keep it night for the first approach. And that's right, we can always watch the replay in daytime or sunset. Let me look at the approach here. So GGT 602, 650. What's our final? Our final approach fix. Final approach point is 606. And max 210 at 608. So we need it by 620. We need to start slowing up and configuring if we're not already. So 650, 622. We still got some time. Keep our speed up here. We'll hit 18 and then we'll hit the brakes and they'll fly right by. Man, if PMDG brought their 744 to Microsoft, I'd have to fly that airplane so much. All right, we're leveling 18,000. Speed brakes are stowed. 12,000 or above on the next altitude. LNAV out, dial in 12,000. Keep our speed up just a little bit longer. Until we hit 554, and then that'll give us, what's that, 10 miles to slow down before we start our middle segment on the descent here. I don't like I'm not getting any terrain data. Alright, let's start dialing it back to 250 knots. Back to 250. That'll give us a good position as we go down below 10,000 feet. On the approach from here? No. Let's go ahead and hit Magic Barrel. Ref 29904 is set. I'm not getting any. Send now. Let's activate that phase. Now we got our TOD back. And flight level change speed. What are we doing? Idle. VNAV. I want VNAV. VNAV speed. Oh no. Wow, this is scary. Descending into literal darkness. We got ahead of that path by 400 feet. I had to activate descent phase. So as soon as we catch up to it right now, she should pick it up. We're still at 220 knots. We'll get a little more speed brake action in there to help her slow down. And we're on the descent now. Now can we arm it? Not quite yet. After 12,000, our next waypoint, our altitude constraint. 12. Basically 8,000 feet until we intercept the final approach point. So let's set 10 for now. Keep coming down. We're on speed 221. Let's go ahead and flaps 1. The slats out. Checklist incomplete. It's on me. Checklist. Normal. Let's see. Descent checklist. Recall. Auto brake. Landing. VREF minimums are set. Approach briefings completed. Approach checklist. Normal. Landing checklist. Speed brake. Flaps and gear. We'll leave it there. Let's continue to slow. Flaps 5. 180. Guatemala city traffic, United 357 Heavy. Approaching Gulf Tango 548 for the RNAV X-ray. What was that? What was that disconnect sound? I don't know if it's still on. Flaps 5, everything's fine. Mandate is still on. Well, we can't do the approach. We can set 8,000 though. Final approach point altitude, 8,000 is set. Now we're not on a loc, we're on an RNAV, so there is no loc to tune. And net ref, what's our double check? Our speed 30, 140, 145. Looks good. Let's come back to the legs blade.
4 United 357, we're increasing the speed to maintain proper spacing.
There's our paths. Guatemala traffic, United 357 having approaching Gulf Tango 548 at a 13.8 on the RMP X-ray. 180, we're flaps 5. Should be able, I gotta turn these lights off, man. It's too bright right there. There we go, that's better. What if I go panel light off, map light on? There we go, that's what I want. Just a little map light. That's better. Let me pull the breaker water. Jeez. Alright, RMP. Can we arm you now? Yes. Loc. Final approach course. Final approach course. So that's armed. So that's not final. It's not loc. It's an RNAV. So that's all good. That looks good. I feel like we're high. Let's go ahead and continue to configure. Flaps 10. GT 672. Why is it doing that? Everything's on. It's scaring me. We have a speed restriction at where are we at here? 622. So we're good. We're below 210, so we're fine. 164 flaps 10.
Guatemala traffic, loose on the Cargo 452X 5 miles an hour, runway 20.
Alright, so he's 5 miles out. He'll be in front of us, no problem. Traffic behind us. Now you can see the beacon light up there. Yeah, both top and bottom are going. I don't know why we couldn't see it on the ground in Houston. All right, we're on the path. We're flaps 10 at platform final approach point 8,000 feet, and that is at 606. There's the final approach point, which will be right there. So we got to continue to configure from all the way back to 140. I mean, I kind of want to see what we're looking at. This is just a dark screen. But I guess we'll leave it on for the approach. We'll wind it back for replay. I don't know why I don't have any terrain though. Here comes 10,000 feet. All the lights are coming on. Flight attendants prepare for landing. Let's get the seatbelt signs on. Can we go, I always forget, can we go 15 without the gear? Or no, it goes 10 to 20. I think we need the gear before we go to 20. Here is 608.
Full time's Quebec clear of 20.
Alright, lift time is clear. Gear's coming down. I'm going to go recording on so I don't forget. Recording is activated. Gear's coming down. Flaps 20. Guatemala traffic United 357 heavy over Gulf Tango 608 for the RNAV 20 X-Way Guatemala. I feel like we were early on the gear, but oh well. We don't really have a whole ton of gas. We got 26 on board right now to recycle and go around, not be all that enjoyable. Approaching the final approach points. Our minimums, we can go ahead and scroll them all down. 5380. We'll leave it at 5400. I don't know why I slowed down so early, Team Vodka. To piss you off, probably? This is pretty wild though, coming in here. This is a valley. So you can see now when I zoom the terrain out, look at that. So we are descending in between mountains right now. Oh geez, we're still 20-mile final. Oh geez, we're way slow. I see now. What is? I can see that. That's alright. Final approach course has been captured. Runway is in sight, barely in the clouds there. Alright. Let's go ahead and continue to configure all the way down. Flaps 25. Not just mountains, volcanoes, exactly. Alright, we're going to yoke cam is on. Flaps full coming in. I guess we'll put that up there. My girls nailed that camera when they came down, so it doesn't really matter. Alright, we're flaps full, fully configured. Runway's in sight. Speed brake is armed. Shut down is all that's left. Let's do this, chat. Match and mash. Autopilot's off. Auto throttle is off. Guatemala traffic, United 357 heavy, run on 5 mile, final 20. .145 on the speed is bugged. We're looking good, Chad. We are looking good. 1,000 feet stable, clear to land. You can see the city off the left. So what you can't see here is at the end of this runway is a cliff. There is nothing after those runway lights end. It is straight up cliff. There's actually a waterfall on it too. A little bit swirly on the winds down here. So I think we're supposed to be one red in the 7-4, right? That's normal. Alright, minimums. Oh, I need flight directors off. Give me the bird. Oh, geez, just doing that I got high. Isn't that crazy? That's right, we're correct. We only need one red is what you need.
200.
We're alright, we're alright.
100.
Just a tad high.
50.
50 over
40,
the numbers.
30. 20. 10.
Come on, baby. Kiss it. Kiss it. Jeez. I didn't even hear an impact. Spoilers, reverse green. Decelling. Manual brakes. Stow it. That was a butter. I will 100% take that. We'll have to look at that. Take this next exit here if we can. On the brakes. I don't know if we can fit on this taxiway. Surely we can. What do we get? 299, 1.14 on the G. That's what we're after. The 1.14, not bad. I don't think we're supposed to be on this taxiway. I'm curious, what did the other landing rate pop up to? I'm curious to see how they compare. Because Fly Live, I was like, I don't know if I believe Fly Live, especially with the Fenix. Oh yeah, I mean, I think it fits. I think it fits, Steven. Yep, look at that, barely. We'll hug the right side. Guatemala traffic, United 357 heavy, we're clear of 20, taxi ramp, Guatemala. Alright, recording is stopped. Let's clean it up. I did see the crater Lufthansa in LA back, 100% I saw that. That was pretty nasty. Alright, flaps are coming up. Oh look, he's already down before us. What a little Team Vodka cutting us off at the end. I should leave my lights on. Blind them. Was it 294? Alright, well then that was, I guess it was pretty accurate. Fuel crossfeed config. Yeah, we don't worry about that. We're fine.
Winning.
I'm going to run you over and won't even feel it. Look at that. Look, you see the cliff? Literally a cliff right there. Should I quit my corporate job and fly for a living? Man, if it's in your blood, you got to do it. It's up to you, man. Do you want to look back in 10 years and be like, I could have done that? Or you can look back in 10 years and be like, I should have not done that. No one can make that decision for you. That was a pretty fun flight, y'all. I think we're going to have to go out of here and fly to Quito next. 7-4 cargo ops to Quito. That would be pretty fun. I mean, that's a sweet looking corporate jet right there. Longitude. Probably got to go over this little corporate ramp. We're going to take a few taxi lights out here on this 90. The replay with engines running, so we're not going to shut down. We're going to park next to this unnighted though. What gate is that? So 7, 8. Let's see if we can get marshalers to 9. 0 suitable parkings. Never mind. Right here. Gate 10. See hardly anything. Gotta cheat. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Quito, Ecuador. Or no, where am I at? Jeez, I don't know. Too much bourbon. Where are we? Welcome to Guatemala. Oh, look at that with the sun setting. How much juice. We got some unnighted next to us there. Let's go into replay mode. Disconnect from that. Quito. Yeah, my bad, man. I'm all over the place. Replay engage. Oh my gosh, look at this, chat. This is going to be the juice. Yeah, I don't know where we are. Wherever we are, we are. Oh, I left the lights off. Oh, did it turn them on for me? Dang it. Nope. Alright, let's run it forward a little bit. We'll pause it. We'll watch that whole one at the end. Oh my gorgeous views. Let's let it load in here for a second. Welcome to Miami, Texas. I like the 7.4 because in the replay mode it plays sound, spoilers, flaps, everything. We'll watch one from the wing view, make sure it's all loaded in. I mean, I didn't even know we touched, but yeah, G's popped up again just now, 1.99. Oh. Alright, let's pause it. Let's go back. PMDG, please. Look at that cliff there, chat. This is Flight Recorder. I'm using Airplane Pilot. Flight Recorder, it's a free replay tool off Flight Sim TO, my man. A little bit of a crosswind, not much though. Just swirly. The winds are just swirly. A little bit high, but we fixed it. Hold it, hold it, hold it for the butter. I mean, maybe it's something with the truck system. That looks smoother than a 299. It might be something with the truck system. I don't know. 1.1G is pretty smooth, though. 1.1G is pretty daggone smooth. Hold the pitch. What is it? Check, hold, close. No, check, that. No. Richest things. Whatever it is. Check code flight deck to sim. Smash. 100% legal. Let's see the wing flex in here. Yeah, I think Nabil, I think it's something with the like truck system. Cause that felt just like we rolled it on. Look at that wing deflex. Oh man. So stinking cool. Let's do one flyby. Let's go like, oh, we touchdown right here. So we go insert, a reset, like so. And now we'll go here. Watch this. This'll be sweet. Bring it back. I want to move the camera over here. Fly over. What about rooftop? Can you be on the rooftop? Whoa! Up, 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 up. Close enough. Oh, that's pretty sweet. Hold on, hold on. That could actually be sweet. Let's watch it from here. And then I'll give you one long one. Full volume. Watch this fly by. Watch this. Coming out of the haze. I wish we had the South Oak effects working with this livery. So we got a little bit high right there. That's where I was turning the flight directors off. I mean, that chat is pretty sweet. And that was a greaser, man. Greaser, bang on the center line at night. Got to love it. All right. It's time. It is time. Let you enjoy the arrival from like right here. Enjoy the flaps. Enjoy a replay juice. This is gonna end it for us tonight. appreciate y'all. Thanks for hanging out with me and totally screwing up the whole like stream time and all that. I do apologize. I hope that this stream ended up being worth it for you if you watched it on replay or watched it live. Again, shout out to Green Dot for the in-flight entertainment. Shout out to all y'all for the gifted memberships, the super chats. Those are awesome. Thank you for all of the support. I'm really going to try to stream tomorrow. It'll probably be in the early window, like 11 or 12 Eastern. I'll try to get one more stream cranked out before I head away for a few days. But I had a lot of fun. I hope you had some fun. Good conversations tonight. God rest the souls of those crew members on UPS-6. Until the next one, stay safe, stay healthy. I'm B1. See you. Zachary Contrap, so thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. See you.